Welcome back, everyone, to the CyberPowerPC Extreme Series. Alongside me is Dust for our opening BO3, which should be an interesting one. It's going to be Renegades versus CLG. Renegades had a tough time yesterday against Rise, a team they should surely stomp, although Rise have been on the rise lately, as weird as that is to say. Against CLG, a team that pugged it out a lot against Complexity yesterday. So this should be an interesting BO3 to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, that CLG Complexity best of 3 yesterday really kind of just melted my brain, mostly from Complexity's end, to be fair. I thought CLG usually were doing a pretty good job, other than just kind of every now and then losing around they probably shouldn't and making things harder on themselves. But at the end of the day, they did get the job done. And I think for the most part, every team we expected to win yesterday did. I think the only series that was a little bit kind of, you didn't really know what to expect was kind of that Misfits Luminosity series yesterday. Was, I think, one that could have maybe gone either way, but Misfits is the one who came out on top there, and they will be playing Optic later. But yeah, I mean, I think that this matchup, if history serves, it should be a close one. I mean, these two teams met just 3 weeks ago in EPL, and they split maps. So each team won a map in that best of 2, and one game was a 16-14, and the other game went into overtime. So if that kind of resurfaces here, we could have certainly a close series between these two teams.
Well, I'm excited, right? Because I mean, you have this semi-newly formed, I guess you could say, Renegades, and with NAF fitting in there, it's becoming more and more American. I feel like every 2 months. I don't know how. I mean, the rest of the Aussies seem to be performing well, though. So I think it.
Well, NAF is Canadian, to be fair, so it's not getting more American.
That's true. It's becoming more North American.
There you go.
Is that the correct termage?
Indeed.
So
yeah, I was wondering when this would happen, by the way, because I felt like it was only natural that you would see some blending of Australian and North American players, just because the language barrier isn't there. Right. I mean, everyone speaks English. Obviously, there's still cultural differences and comforts and all that good stuff, but it is cool to start seeing that blend take place, as we are now seeing the vetoes on screen, as we do have Renegades banning out Overpass, which is not very surprising. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then you're going to see a ban of Nuke coming out for CLG, which has basically been their permanent ban for the most part. So I'm not surprised to see that come out either. Train is going to get picked by CLG. Pretty good map for them. Not too shabby for Renegades, so they've struggled a bit since NAF joined on the map, so should be an edge there on their map pick. And then Renegades will be taking Inferno, which I think is a great counter pick because CLG have absolutely struggled on Inferno. I think they're like 1-9 online and 0-3 on LAN, so in total they're 1-12 on Inferno between online and LAN play. Yeah, I mean, they'll leave it out there, but they've definitely had their struggles just finding results. Not a bad map for Renegades. They've won it both times they've played it with this 5. And then if we need a third map, it will be Cobblestone.
These seem to be favoring the Renegade side. To be honest with you, these maps for now. As these are stats throughout this tournament only, and we can take a look at how well both teams been playing. I mean, pretty even if you take a look at these stats. I mean, the plus and minus, I guess, supports CLG. I mean, this is as close as stats can really get, I guess, to be honest with you.
Well, seeing as this graphics actually,
BO3, right? Wait, is this just one?
Yeah, they've each played a map once, so obviously they get an average of 16 rounds because they won the map when they played it. So
yeah. This is a little,
but the graphics that you can pay attention to that do matter are like the average ADR and KDR of the teams and stuff like that. That can give you just a little bit, but the whole 16 average rounds thing's a little.
That headshot percentage is low, though, is it not?
I'm not too worried about
headshot
percentage.
I guess it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I'm not really
sure. It's all
about
popping them domes, though.
Sure. Cool looking graphic, though. We'll say
it does. Very unique.
It does look nice. With more data, I'm sure it would be much better. But either way, yeah, I mean, I think that this series definitely has a chance to go all 3 maps. I think that each team could certainly win their pick. I think CLG's chances of stealing Inferno from Renegades seem pretty low considering past results, whereas there is somewhat of an outside chance that Renegades could challenge on Train and perhaps 2-0 the series, but I feel pretty confident that each team could definitely take their pick, and then it would just come down to Cobblestone as the decider, which is actually pretty common ground for both teams, to be honest. I think Renegades have been a little bit more impressive in the most recent times on Cobble, but CLG certainly can play it, and they have a pretty good online record with their current 5. So yeah, I think this should shape out to actually be a pretty solid best of 3.
Well, we just saw the Renegades run down. Now we will see CLG, of course, FNS, Kusta, Cutler, Ethan, and Ricky, the famous backwards names that still trigger me to this day. But that's all right. It seems to be a CLG thing. Even the female team does it now. So I think I'm just not going to cast them.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a decent amount of talent on this team. When you think about it, Kusta is certainly one of those guys that with the AWP at different points in his career has looked very impressive. Obviously, very impressive with, Enemy back in the day. Obviously had his struggles on Liquid, but on the CLG team, he seems to be kind of getting back to it. I think he kind of gave up opting for a while, but then kind of picked it back up, and he certainly can be one to turn heads. And obviously the other two people that you really look at on this team to perform would be Ethan and Ricky. Ethan being the very young rifler. I think he's only 16 or 17 years old, does pretty well. Ricky has transitioned into a rifle role pretty well, and gets the second op when it is available. And one of the big things, though, actually, is that Cutler's performances have started to become better in recent times as well, which I know is something that Ryu kind of talked about in some of his vlogs he does, which you should check out. It's actually pretty cool. Not many times do you see like a coach of a team like do regular vlogs to give you insight like that. So it's pretty cool stuff that he does. But anyway, he was talking in one of his vlogs about how there was a focus on trying to get a little bit more performance out of Cutler, and it seems like he's starting to do a little bit better these days.
Well, that's good. That's good for Cutler. It's been a while. I think last time I seen him playing well was when Hayes was still on the team. So it's good to see him finally starting to find his footing. We are going to take a quick break as the players have requested a new server. First of all, we're going to do a little bit of plugs. First, we're going to plug the giveaway, of course. Link will be in chat and on screen. We're also going to go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors: Best Buy, Intel, Western Digital, Nvidia, and MSI. Great dudes and help us run this tournament. And with that being said, we are going to go ahead and throw to a quick break. When we come back, we'll jump into the first game of Renegades versus CLG.
Gaming is demanding, and streaming even more so. We pride ourselves in knowing what it takes to build a perfect system.
I've been gaming and streaming my entire life. I do it because it's my passion. The one thing my audience appreciates the most is the energy I bring to the table. And when I bring energy, that's when I connect with my audience.
Yo, Renegades, thank you for the 10 months, man. Appreciate the resubscribe.
Yeah, I get excited about the little things, like cache and I/O improvements. We take a lot of time to make sure that every system we build maximizes performance. Now, with more cores and threads, the potential is so much higher.
So when I'm streaming, there's usually a lot going on. The last thing I want to worry about is my computer going down. Everything just has to work.
With more PCI lanes, we get a ton of headroom for graphics cards and SSDs. Intel's making it easy for us to give streamers responsive systems with more bandwidth, scalability, and overclocking potential.
To stay competitive, I gotta grind, I gotta stay sharp.
Gaming is going to be around forever, and we're always going to be there.
We're always practicing and pushing.
Until it's perfect.
Gotta get warmed up. Just give me some time. I'll loosen up. All right, baby. We back once a mother again. I'm Trick2G, and I'm from Virginia, and I'm a Twitch streamer. I played League of Legends for about 7 years now. It was something different. Before I played nothing but shooters, FPSs, and as soon as I started playing it, it was over. My role in League is jungle / top. Top lane, you're on your own island. And when it comes to jungle, you're free. The way I got into streaming, just stumbled upon the site, and League was blowing up at the time, and boom, I saw the people streaming, friends wanted to watch me. A typical day in my life would be wake up, shower, coffee, turn stream on, try to stream the whole damn day. If I didn't have to sleep, I would just continue to go. When I'm not streaming, I'm streaming. For the people that are trying to get into streaming, like any advice I can give you, I mean, I guess you have to be consistent, content, and just bring out that energy and just be you. I think the reason the phrase "let's go" became popular is because when it comes to getting ready to throw down in something, play the goddamn, I'm ready to go. That's when, I get the blood loosen up and boom, we throw down. Let's go! Shout out to Intel and CyberPower for giving me a beast-ass comp. I mean, you see what I do on the riff with the goddamn. Becoming a streamer has changed my life. I guess it's given me everything that I need. The way I got sponsored by CyberPowerPC was Cher. At the time, esports was growing, and I was telling Cher about CyberPower, and she approached him. They mean a lot. They've, given us so much product to give away to, kids less fortunate to have some of these things, and I really appreciate that, and so does Cher. To all the fans that supported me throughout the years, I just want to say thank you. I love all you guys. I'm going to continue breaching Gatas. My name is Trick2G, and I use CyberPowerPC powered by Intel.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to CyberPowerPC Extreme Series. We're good for game. Renegades for CLG. Starting the BO3 off on train. Winner of the BO3 moves on to the good old grand finals. Loser only gets $1,000. It's kind of a sad story, it does.
True. Getting $1,000 would definitely... It's still good though. I mean, you played two best of threes and you won a G, so I mean, it's not too bad. It's a good thing about weekend cups. You just you play a best of threes, you win 3 best of threes, you got $9,000 split between the rest of your team. Good stuff. So you are going to be on train again, a map that should favor CLG just a little bit, but Renegades certainly no slouches on the map in their own right, though they haven't got too much play since Staff's been on board. So you are going to see that Ethan has got control of line room here, and it's going to be triple Ivy play with the bomb in that direction. Ustello is already low on HP, kind of watching back hauls from CT stairs area. And here comes the split onto the outer yard.
Kusa's going to push back trains. Bomb has to go forward. Nat's going to find the first. A good immediate trade from Ethan from Ladders. JKS playing Old Bomb. Looking for a favorable engagement, but he's going to get pinched in a moment there. He swings to his death. Kusta will find JKS. Nifty has to make a play. The only CT left with HP, but Astillo still somehow alive. Back trains, and it is now just Nifty as he will get double peeked, but he's given room to work with. What a shot on the Cutler. The bomb is down back red. Although that decoy will get thrown in his direction, no fear, as Kusa is going to work around the train, grab the bomb. And he's going to try to bait it out. Nifty, just missing. A little game of chicken at this point. As Kusta's still going to be looking for something. Nifty's playing around E-Box. Getting a little awkward now. Kusta will at least say, you know what? I'm not getting out of here. Might as well plant the bomb. And he's falling all the way back here, Dust.
Yeah, it's very rare that you see this particular bomb plant location. Usually it's on the sides of the train, but this time it's going to be on the back of the train. And Kusta's going to be able to see that bomb, obviously. Just by jiggle peeking here at where Old Bomb train is. Nifty actually thinks that he might be heaven. He's not 100% positive where Kusta is. He's checking Z, he's tapping the bomb, he's baiting. Kusta is coming down, realizes that Nifty's not on the bomb, and at this point, there's just no time for Nifty to defuse. I mean, if Kusta keeps doing this, he's never going to be able to stick it, and Kusta will just get the frag at the end of the day. So very well played 1v1 from Kusta after what was a pretty tight race of a round, right? I mean, lots of trades back and forth there in the outer yard, and in the end, it comes down to one man to solve it, and he gets it done for CLG. So they will go ahead and start buying up some rifles, SMGs in the mix as well. Renegades taking a very conservative approach to their second round, not going crazy all out with armor and CZs, just getting the $300 P250s. They want to make sure they have a nice full buy in round number 4.
Very safe from CLG across the board. Well, I don't know why I had a hiccup there. That was, jeez. It's early, Dust. 2 players holding towards the top
not
ladder.
though.
Well,
it's like 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I can't even use that early for gamers line because it is literally gaming time. Rough. The CLG will spot a couple players. This Azure is going to push in towards T-Con. He knew there were CLG members here recently. Nice shot on Akusta. P250 still finding some accuracy and deadliness as Cutler have to swing with his teammate here. Ricky, they'll clean those 2 up. Getting shot from Ivy. Ricky spins. Easy kill on a Nifty. And that's the last one remaining. So only 1 frag going Renegade's way. Barely any damage dealt on the CLG.
Yeah, so a pretty clean round from CLG, but again, not really expecting much from Renegades. They're not, going into any type of crazy force buy in that round. And this round is going to be basically a full save. And like I said, I think that's just because they want off the right foot on their opening gun round. They want to make sure that they have full utility, that they have that AWP in Nifty's hands. They could even go for a double AWP setup. Pretty common on train when the money's there, and they certainly have some players who can tote that second op. I think it's usually been Naf, actually, since he's joined the team. He'll do a lot of the second opping, but I've seen JKS with it as well at times if he wants to take one towards inner, but we'll just have to wait and see. CLG are just, kind of doing their due diligence to get some map control here, just making sure that, ladders cleared up, that they can get control of Brown Halls. There is some aggression by Renegades here towards T-Connect, where they're not pushing all the way in just yet. Just kind of holding the forward position.
Yeah, Nat's going to be playing this top blue train again. Wants to bait someone out in towards Nifty. But again, CLG is just playing very safe. Looks like FS wanted a molly ladder, although Ethan was already down there. Or at least peeked it. But Azur's home now, the molly bottom ladder. Azur's going to run out towards E-Box. Waiting for someone to swing from T-Con. May get timing on this, and he will. As Nifty is towards E-Box. Nice swing with his USP, however, to get 1. But I think that's all Renegades are going to get. As they slowly and surely get swept under the rug. And so too will this round. As CLG should go up 3-0. JKS, which is Sans USP. He has a hope, but I don't think much of a chance.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really expect a lot out of Renegades when they're essentially on full USPs. I mean, the best you can hope for is to do some type of gimmick play, like a stack or some type of aggressive push. You did see them kind of toying around with T-Con, but it just didn't quite work out. And while JKS does tag out 1 more player before the end of the round, it's not enough to do much. And all the AKs, I think... Oh, no, never mind. They actually...
That?
Yeah, they were trying to shoot the AK over to Ricky so he could swap it out for...
No.
The Galili
Ricky
had,
was
but...
diffusing.
Oh.
And he shot it towards FNS.
Oh, who already had an AK. Yeah, it's a little rough. Winds up being all right because they had plenty of money. Ricky will just stick with the Galil. He does actually buy an op and pass it over to Kusta. Nifty will have his AWP. No double op for Renegades. Just Nifty, but plenty of utility. That means that coming out T connector is going to be much more difficult for CLG because you could just easily pre-nade it, smoke it, you know, throw incendiaries. You have to work a little bit harder to get that map control when CTs have this much utility. As we do have Cutler getting out though and finding that entry on the Ustillo. Finds another on to add as well. Cutler on a one-man mission, and he's done a lot of work. Kusta will add to that.
Jeez, no fear whatsoever. They just straight up run out without having those mollies from Renegades to really hinder their peak / jumping out towards Olaf and backguard early. They just go for it. This JKS back site is the last line of defense towards the A site. Nifty's rotated in Z with his op, but they still have to be careful of the Z push. And there you have it. JKS will peek, but he immediately gets traded as Nifty. I don't think he wants to commit to pushing through the smoke. He's going to, but it's a risky play. He's going to try to find at least one player taking a nap somewhere and at least bring it to a 1v2. But, I mean, timing has to be on his side. Ricky's going to jump on pallets, and Ethan just simply holds. Clean 4-0 for CLG.
Yeah, I mean, that's just Cutler being able to get into the outer yard and get 2 big entries. I mean, he just kind of walked out there towards E-Box, wasn't really picked up on. Found the good timing, I guess, and really just lit up the scoreboard there. Those were 2 really big kills, and then Kusta just, you know, responded very quickly after they finally traded out Cutler. But they basically traded 3 for 1 in the early stages of that round in outer yard, and that made things very overwhelming for Renegades, who will be back onto just upgraded pistols, a little bit of armor on Naf and Azza, but for the most part, it is slim at Pickens, and this should be CLG punching in that 5th round. As Ethan will be trying to work into ladder here. No stranger to that. One of his favorite spots to play on this map. Some aggression did happen at TCOM, but it's been thwarted.
Good nade in, a little bit of damage, but it looks like CLG should be relatively flawless. Those JKS can make some kind of play towards top blue. CLG just have good reads against rounds when they know they're on pistols. From winning pistol round and then just playing an extremely safe default from 2 players top ladder. Extremely safe back in T-Con and outside of T-Spawn. CLG done a nice job of just safe defaults when they know the Renegades are on weak bias.
Yeah, it's actually really well done by CLG to not fall prey to those type of forced buy rounds, because I felt like that was something that actually happened to them a couple of times against Complexity yesterday. And I think cleaning some of that up, even though they wound up winning that series and they looked pretty dominant, particularly in the second map, I think they just want to play things a little bit more comfortably this time. And, you know, making sure you don't fall prey to that silliness is definitely good. But we are back onto a full buy for Renegades now. Again, just a single op setup. Is going to be Nifty who has it. Ustillo looking to get aggressive by himself at Ivy. Just, you know, pop flashing himself out. Throws up a smoke. He's not going to follow it up all the way. Not a full commitment. He doesn't want to kind of strand himself out there alone. But at least denying the ability for CLG to, you know, start getting some peeks in on Ivy. As they were actually looking for a triple Ivy setup on this round. He's really slowed them down.
Yeah, another little hesitant. Ethan's looking for some kind of entry towards the B side. He is alone, though. As you can see how far back Ustillo is pushed, all the way to back lanes. Gets aggressive just to fall all the way back into a safe spot. FNS misses that deep molly, so that's only a molly under ladder. So that, I believe that's Azur. In towards ladder, yeah, he can just stay there. Not worried about another molly coming down. Knowing CLG been playing very safe in the default positions, probably not another molly coming his way. Still will have a smoke in front of him, a molly on the other side of the smoke. He will return fire. Most literally, as he is just going to hold this smoke. Now, with 40 seconds on the clock, CLG pretty much have to commit to this Ivy push or fall back and execute towards A. There's really no time for anything else.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and get that smoke up on the left side of Ivy. They definitely want to split this outer bomb site with Finesse and Ethan coming from opposite angles, but Azza still maintains control of ladder room, and that's going to be the really big deal here. But they do get that entry onto Nifty, but Naf quick to respond from the front of the bomb train. CLG are starting to make some headway, but the response from Renegades is going to be on top of things, as Ustillo will be a huge factor in that round. Not only did he deny Ivy for so long with some of that utility he threw at the beginning of the round, winds up with 3 kills. So, definitely did a lot of work for his team, and that double op will now be in play for Renegades.
Yeah, he did a nice job of staying alive as well, as you mentioned. Getting aggressive, falling on the way back lanes, not pushing through the smoke until he had confirmation that they were pushing out Ivy. It wasn't just like a 1 or 2 man fake. He actually committed as soon as his teammates called what was going on towards outer sight. CLG, though, will still get a buyout. Hop out on Kusa. JKS wants to get aggressive. Peeks in the molly, but no one home. CLG delay their peek, knowing that molly will flush out an opera if they do want to peek it early. As Astillo has to be careful. If he jiggles into this, it will be an op waiting. Not going to take the chance. Just gets the smoke out, as it looks like an identical setup from CLG.
Yeah, indeed, it is identical. This time, though, they're not being halted at Ivy. They're able to start asserting themselves here. There is one smoke up from Ustillo earlier on that Kusa's trying to actually peek over. They've actually smoked Ustillo off now, and now they have that fire up as well. They really want to see if they can't leverage that same split outer. As Naf, the rotator for this team, kind of replacing Nexa in that regard, has committed pretty firmly to being inner. So a little bit less presence outside for Renegades to start off with, but again, they still do have Azza and Ladder, and that's the real problem area that you have to be able to deal with if you're CLG. But well, they did.
Find the opening frag. Cutler's gonna run through the molly. Still here, but gets nothing from single box. Down he goes. The wrap is in full effect. JKS is in Z, and Nifty's in Sandwich, so they still have a majority of their players towards the A site. As Naf has been very sneaky towards the B site, but he will get caught up from Ethan. This may prompt immediate rotations from Renegades, and it will. But JKS doesn't really want to commit to this. He's actually going to come back. He hears the smoke, trying to deny the plant, gets caught. Actually finds one player through the smoke, as it's Nifty alone now, 1v4. Kusta holds for the re-peek, and CLG just keep his default alive, and really keep just... I don't know what it is. Just put a weight on Renegade's shoulders. They're just doing just sound CS, and Renegades can't get anything going.
I mean, this clean entries from CLG there is really all it is. I mean, the fact that Finesse was able to pick up on Azat Ladder was pretty big. The fact that they were able to get Ustillo down as well at Ivy very easily. I mean, at that point, you just get an instant 5-on-3, and you've gotten kills all along the map. So, just really difficult for Renegades at that point, who will, again, be on a save. Just the Deagle and CZ armor for Azza to work with, really, here. So, it should be CLG just cleaning things up at this point. It looks like 7-1 is just on the horizon.
Very safe. Again, CLG with FNS more specifically, I suppose, has done a nice job in reading the economy of Renegades. Knowing when they'll be low, knowing when they'll have lower utility to run out towards T-Con like we've seen already, and knowing when to run proper defaults when Renegades will have full buys. Everything's been quite sound from CLG thus far, which is good in comparison to what we saw against the CLG on this map. Ethan will be given some wiggle room towards upper B. Yes, one frag and will fall. And that's just the ladder being the ladder, is it not?
They got a couple of AKs now. Yeah. They don't have armor, though, so aim punch not as big of an issue, though, these days, but obviously you will die faster without armor. Ricky's starting to clean things up, and there you have it. So CLG got themselves out of a bind.
Optic stickered Naf. Get peek from Ricky as Deagle's off the mark, and Ricky cleans it up, 7-1. Probably the best start to a half you can hope for as a T side on Train. Let's be honest. You've broken Renegade's economy early on, round 6, and you've just strung them along. You haven't lost any pistols. There's been nothing to swing the game back in Renegade's way.
No, not at all. I mean, again, the fact that CLG's been able to be so good at controlling ladder is definitely a big deal, I feel like. Usually that's pretty good territory to defend if you're a CT team, and Azza has only been able to find one frag from that area on the map. They've limited Nifty's ability to have an impact with an op because he hasn't really had it much because of economy, and even when he hasn't had that much of a game with it either. Really, no one's had a big game for Renegades. You see some aggression at Ivy here for these players, but his back was turned trying to avoid a flash, and it just made an easy frag for Cutler at the end, and Kusta will chime in as well. So CLG already on their way to that 8th round now.
Slowly but surely, P250 is standing in their way. As Kusa is going to be posted down Ivy. The bomb is here. They still have a minute 5, so no pressure. And it should be just simple. Just fitting in the mold, getting it done. And it should be 8-1 momentarily. It just comes down to Renegades. I guess they do want to play it a little cheeky. Try to find one of these players of CLG. As Naf will peek, get the info. Yeah, they're still there. Let's fall back to site as FNS is going to come back T-Con. I guess these Ivy players don't feel comfortable pushing out, but Renegades have over-rotated. They want to get a rifle out of this.
Ethan, he came down a little bit, saw a player there, said, nope, not hanging around for this. Got out of there, and then just, uses the Molotov and a little bit of trickery to make sure that he does wind up getting the frag onto Azza. Takes a lot of damage in the process, but CLG could still wind up with a flawless victory on this round. Unless JKS or Nav can do something out with these P250s, but it's very unlikely. No reason not to try, though. Oh, here it is, the head stack. Ethan,
dead.
You're done, son.
It's so strong. I mean, it's really hard to counter. It really is. I love it. New meta.
Yeah, people have been trying to figure out new ways to... Yeah, I don't know who the first team was who did that. The first time I actually saw it was last night when Complexity did it. But yeah, I'm not sure where the origins lie with that. But again, T teams have been having to try to figure out new crafty ways of getting ladder control. Because it used to just be a simple pop flash would do it for you, but not anymore these days.
They should catch JKS here. He gets one. He's swinging. I mean, all in all, he gets two. But I think he was dead either way at the end of the day as soon as he swung for the first one. So there's going to be a pause coming in from Renegades. I imagine this is a tactical.
Yes, absolutely.
5 minutes to talk things through. I mean, you're going to put up pretty much all your bank into this round in round 10. Yeah, they're going to be absolutely broke. There is a chance for a double op if JKS wishes. We've seen that shut down already, though. CLG's default isn't really privy to getting caught out. It's very safe.
Yeah, I mean, CLG have done well just to play default. I mean, pretty strongly, just being able to correct pressure all across the map and get control. They've rolled out a couple of triple Ivy setups that they've had some success with as well, just splitting the outer yard with heavy numbers coming from that area of the map. I mean, they've really found openings almost everywhere they've went. They've really not met much resistance. I mean, they've pretty much been able to pull out whatever play they've wanted and find success with it. And so at that point, it leaves all of CLG's options still wide open. And if you're Renegades, I mean, you're kind of getting melted down all across the map. So it's kind of hard to really think about one key adjustment you can make here because, for one, your economy's been an issue a lot of the half, and so that stopped you from being able to have utility and multiple ops on a regular basis. And, yeah, so I'm not sure there is really one key adjustment here to be made. I mean, everyone really needs to kind of just step up. Other than JKS doing a decent job defending inner, they've really struggled all across the board.
Well, let's see where the fix lies. As Kusa's going to go for the opening pick. Great flash over. Nearly had that upper, and Z Nifty surely should have been dead, but Kusa positions himself. Well, he second-guessed. He was committed and then moved. And that's exactly when Nifty made his own move. As now CLG this time a little more upper brown pressure than normal. Ricky trying to keep T-Con honest. If there's a player there, he whips a nade in there. As we're gonna see the big molly coming in from Ethan. I guess they called it the Gobby molly to be more precise.
Yeah, the other molly though got extinguished by a smoke, so I don't think they can really go for that setup anymore.
They need to save mollies for an execution towards B, probably, huh?
Yeah, there's definitely some molly execute you can do. They're actually going to boost up Kusa, though, see if he can't find anybody rotating through Z connector, but there is no one there just yet. It's just JKS playing back a pop dog, so unfortunately for Kusa, he's not going to find anything for free, but yeah, you would think an inner execute is still what's on the cards. They might throw a slight fake or something towards T side. They do have Finesse over here who could throw, some type of pop flash for Ethan and Ricky to maybe peek out of ladder room and create some pressure outside, but the focus is going to be inner.
Well, they swing. Nazar gets the first. JKS is playing towards Oil Wall, and he catches Cutler looking down the ladder. He's going to swing for more. He catches Ricky as well. Spots the third player. Finally, Kusta will get the refrag, but Naf is too quick as it's FNS alone with 20 seconds. I mean, I guess they have so much cash, you might as well go for this. Anyone he drops is just a bonus, but you still just holds the angle. There you have it. Renegades on the back of CLG, pretty much just hesitating almost. It seemed a little broken as to what they wanted to do.
Well, I mean, they were trying to create some pressure on the outer yard to hold people in place and perhaps even make sure that rotator that could sometimes serve as a second defender and inner wasn't going to have that possibility. And in that regard, it worked. But Ethan kind of died without getting any frags or being able to, just kind of create the pressure and then run back up ladder and actually help the inner execute. And so that kind of hurt a little bit. Not only that, but JKS just a good job defending again. So they didn't really find that many entries. I mean, Yakuza popped off a couple of op kills, but Renegades was always able to respond and make sure they kept the man advantage throughout most of that. So just
Double
better.
off T side. How do you feel about this?
Some teams definitely can pull it off.
I guess not Ricky.
Yeah, Nifty does spot him out pretty early on before things begin to develop. So now CLG will be forced just to work with the 1-op and only 4 players of the 5 of Renegades. They're looking to maybe once again throw some pressure towards inner yard.
Yeah, I feel like they almost have to. Right? They have no map control anywhere else. Yeah, well, they bait on a molly. There's still an opportunity to go back down ladder, but it's so risky now without much time to stick down. And Azur's here. I mean, you have 0 map control. You almost have to commit. You have 4 players there. Renegades have 3 players rotated towards the B side. It's a lot to ask, but they do have 3 smokes, 3 mollies. They can run through this deep smoke, and they're going to go. JKS is going to swing. Molly finds 1. This is just looking like an easy hold, as Naf's even going to show up to the party. It's just Kust in a 1v5. Too much time to bother to try to save. Again, it's almost a spot where he has to peek, has to find some frags, and it's just still to take his head clean off. CLG, well, they're starting to stagnate a little bit.
Yeah, they're starting to slow down a bit. I mean, they definitely got bogged down in that round. I mean, like you noted, you know, one of their players goes down with the AWP very early thanks to the pick of Nifty, and everyone else was focused up in their halls. They didn't really have any presence anywhere else on the map or any information to work with. So at that point, you're taking a risk of, you know, going into the fog of war, you know, in unknown territory and perhaps getting picked off, or just kind of working with what you've got with the information you do have at inner. But they just kind of ran into a brick wall there. Good utility usage for Renegades, and they had that 3rd person rotated. So it's always going to be hard to get past that much resistance. And now CLG are... Let's have to see if they can kind of pick back up, because, I mean, they had a great half going for them here. They were up 8-1 at one point, but now Renegades are starting to find a little bit of a rhythm, and CLG are also running out of money. They're going to go back to their triple Ivy setup. They've had a lot of success with this, but this time they won't find Ustilo's rifle. They'll be looking to try to pass up Nifty's AWP.
We've seen this before. Renegades just gonna leave Naf pushed all the way back in B to hold it. So a lot of players from Renegades up towards that A site for now. A lot of pressure towards Old Bomb. They can either fight towards site or fall back in towards CT and get to B quickly. But we will see that left side smoke thrown. FNS starting to take some shots through the wall. They'll even molly him off, so he can't help these players Ivy just yet. The molly sandwich will go in, as we still will return the favor with a pop flash. As he's going to call to his teammates are coming through, and he still is going through himself. They went through the smoke. They trade positions, but Ustillo comes out on top. JKS will swing, but it's Ustillo again to re-peek himself, as it is just Ricky alone, shut down from his old squad. That's something we didn't talk about. It's his old team. And Renegades are slowly fighting back on that note.
Yeah, really good hold. I mean, this time they're just not letting that Ivy entry come through for CLG. I think they're just dueling better is really the biggest thing here. I mean, I think that CLG has been doing a lot of the same things most of the half. They were just winning their fights and trading more efficiently. But now you're starting to see some of these Renegades players, you know, kind of wake up a bit. You know, at one point, Ustillo was at 1 frag, and now he's already up to 8. So, I mean, he's definitely started to wake up in his own right individually. And CLG will now just have to do a save rush here, and they're looking to perhaps throw it towards inner, just hope to see if they can't get a bomb plant. And, I mean, the cash has finally run dry for that team.
Took a while, but Renegades have finally done it. Although the other day, 8 rounds on the T side of the train is certainly doable. Nothing to shake a stick at as they're going to try to get a bomb plant here. JKS, the bomb will cross. There's one player there to pick it up and plant. It's going to be Ethan. FNS goes down. JKS is going to try to deny this, pushing up. Oh, gets denied from Cutler. The Deagles start to find some heads. Now, it's Ethan on 27. I've seen his Deagle. It's deadly, but not this time around. It's just Ricky. 1v3. Nap takes the peak. Renegades, although they couldn't deny the plant, they will still clean up CLG. Only lose 2 members of their own. All in all, not so bad, but this should solidify CLG by.
Yeah, getting that bomb plant was definitely the key objective in a round like that, where you don't really have much invested. And they did get that goal accomplished, and so they will have full AKs, full utility. Kusta definitely can afford an op and armor. If they want to go that route, he could also just rifle up and get some utility, and they could do something with 5 rifles, but it will be the AWP from Kusta. No surprises there, of course, as we see CLG maybe looking to do something a little bit faster here. The utility is there from Renegades, but Ricky actually beat the timing. He's already made it out, and so is Cutler. And Cutler does get that entry onto Azza, but Naf is responding pretty well.
I think that might have been their own sandwich molly thrown from someone in T-Con, which held those 2 players back. Kusta, wearing some moon shoes, perhaps, as he just bounces off the train, jumps into the middle of nowhere, and gets picked by the op, leaving Ethan alone. That just got really sloppy from CLG really quickly.
It looked good at first. I mean, it felt like they had actually beat the utility of Renegades in T-Con. Because, I mean, again, when you're trying to rush outer against a CT team that has a lot of money, you're going to run into incendiaries and nades and things like that. And you're going to take a lot of damage, and you may not even be able to get out. But Ricky and Cutler actually did move past all that. They were a little bit separated from their team, though, because of an incendiary, I think. But Cutler still got the entry. And, I mean, it was even trades for a little while there. And so it wasn't looking too shabby, but at a certain point, the ops of Renegades were able to kind of catch back up and all the trading going on. It's a good pick from Finesse, though, on the JKS, who was looking to get aggressive at Inner. And they were working a triple Ivy setup, but now they have a 5-on-4 to work with, so they can kind of maybe even slow things down a little bit and take a little bit more care about things.
Taking a risk. 2 JKS going down the opposite side of the map. Nifty feels obligated to at least stick around and get a trade frag. Some kind of pick towards this side of the map. Deep molly. He'll get mollied off himself up to top green. As soon as he'll count down the molly timer, and as soon as that's about to extinguish, he'll turn around and hold Ivy again. As Ethan's going to be playing in the back of the smoke in T-Con. Kusta. It's on a flash. There's Nifty. Peaks, living on 2 HP as he'll get out of there. Dinked up, falling back. And there you have it. Ethan will catch Nifty just trying to escape towards Sandwich as Ethan's about to come in towards T-Con. Renegades slowly getting picked apart as Naf gets spotted by Red. Now we'll see if they want to swing on this, and they will. Naf gets a dink, but that's about it. Ricky will molly towards site. Azar has to go ham towards ladder, as it still is about to meet up with him. But CLG have a good idea what's happening right now.
Yeah, CLG have just really done well to win their fights, catching JKS and Inner early, having success finding their way out of Ivy. Just Azza and Ustilo left now. Azza has been fired off from ladder room, and Ustilo was meeting up with him, so now they're both stuck in here for the last round of the half.
Commitment is what we're going to see from Renegades as they jump through the smoke. Spray is good for Stilla to finally find a frag into this round, but he has 2 more to find. Ricky's heavily tagged, and Finesse has tucked himself away up towards computer in heaven. So there's not a lot of leeway for Ustilo to work with. He may catch Ricky, as he'll be the first point of contact, but outside of that, should be no hope, and there's FNS who actually swings first. So 9-6 half. It's a good T-side from CLG. I mean, it started out hot. Renegades were able to fight back, but, you know, CLG cleaned it up in the end when it mattered.
Yeah, it's one of those halves where, depending on what perspective you take, it could be decent for either team. I mean, decent in the sense that, you know, CLG winds up with 9 rounds, but they might be a bit disappointed they didn't get more, considering they were up 8-1, and they really did have, you know, Renegade's economy up against the ropes. And so I think that, you know, maybe they think they probably should have gotten a little bit more out of that half, but still 9's very respectable. It's a great, you know, starting point for the rest of this game. And then if you're Renegades, you're probably feeling pretty good that you did grind out some rounds in the end. You know, you were down 8-1, and you did wind up getting a few more rounds to at least make it close, and you're within striking distance still. I mean, if you win pistol and ride out any type of force buy, I mean, you could tie the game right up. So we'll just have to see, as again, I mean, the big thing against Renegades is that their train just hasn't had the result since Nat's been on board. I think they're like 1-3 or something on this map. Meanwhile, CLG has been more of a comfort for them.
Well, we will see. We're going to take a quick ad break, a word from our sponsors, and we're back for the second half.
My name is Trick2G, and I use CyberPowerPC powered by Intel. Let's go!
Welcome back, everyone. My name
Indeed.
is Seaside, and this is Dust, in case you forgot.
Jeez, man, you sounded so unenthusiastic about
In case you forgot, this is
Thank you.
Dust. Yeah,
Thank
there you
you.
go.
There you go.
Our Twitter's on screen. We're both good-looking gents, are we not, Dust?
Yeah, I don't know.
We to each their own, right?
Yeah.
Pissed around.
I'm working
just to
on
get
it.
a smoke. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Food's too good, though. I like eating.
Yeah.
Hit smoke out on Kusta. Meanwhile, Renegades will go for a bit of a heavy utility setup early.
Yeah, again, you're seeing a lot of teams get a little bit more utility on T rounds now that the aim punch is as bad. So they can have a little bit more to work with on some type of T-sided strategy as Renegades will be getting into the brown halls. And CLG are playing very passive on enter. They have Ethan and Kusta both here, but playing for back, which makes sense. You know, you're just trying to range out Glocks with USBs because Glocks are very dangerous now up close with the buff that they've received. And they are going to start pouring down the lower ramp. No one's going to be upper, so Kusta's going to be a bit disappointed that he's not going to get a chance to shoot at anything. But Ethan does find the first kill, but that bomb's definitely going down. It's going to be all about the retake now.
They're going to get aggressive with these blocks. Even jumping on top oil. Kusta spots it, gets tanked down to 12. Will fall. Ethan's going to try to push up. There are just T's everywhere. Too many targets for him to pick one. As they're going to need to pick up that hit and move soon as FNS whiff City out here. So he's not going to be able to find one. Cutler will trade it. The kit gets picked up by Ricky, even has a smoke. But I don't think this is happening. JKS can just play time. Ricky will try his best with a smoke and a defuse. But JKS should be able to spot this, you think. Alright. It took a little bit, but he will get it. That's going to be Renegades picking up the pistol, and that's desperately what they needed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good tactic to run an inner yard. I actually first noticed this when Hunden was doing it with Tricked back in the day, where instead of throwing like a more shallow smoke on sidewalk to get up lower ramp, teams are throwing it deeper towards Z. That way you can actually press up close to the train at connector. And it's good because it means you close distance and you don't allow the space for CTs to work with to actually get their retake rolling. And then it's doubly effective on a pistol round because the Glocks are much stronger now at close range fights. So it's a good tactic for Renegades, and they are starting to work towards tying the game up. They will get those SMGs and Galils and such out against the buying CLG. So far they are breaking through very nicely.
Eagle will get caught out from NAF. Just Cutler remaining. A scout and 43 HP, so not so much you can do in this situation with clock starting to dwindle down, but the bomb's going to go down, so I think Cutler may just try to find some exits on this one. NAF is one tagged, and so it's still low. All right, Cutler. A little bit of a spin and flick of the wrist. We'll find it still low, 1v2. Any damage found is ideal here for Cutler. But he is getting pushed from NAF and from behind. I don't know how prepared Cutler will be for this. NAF actually gets caught falling in the falling animation off the pillar. But it's still safe. Renegades, you know, they're a little expensive.
Yeah, they had a team kill involved in that round as well, which doesn't help things out as far as the cost of the round, having to rebuy on 3 of their players here. But they're going to rebuy some MAC-10s, and they're going to be up against a team that doesn't have anything, so they can certainly make that money back. I mean, if you get 2 kills with the MAC-10, it more than pays for itself.
Well, unless
That
the
nade
nades
stack,
come
though.
raining in, yeah. And if he gets shut down, as Cutler's going to be playing towards Ninja Corner, going to go unchecked. Actually gets the proper dinks as FNS and Ricky clean it up. JKS has to be worried of getting pushed towards site now. Kusta's flanking with the AK, and FNS has done a nice job of keeping their eyes forward. They know they have to push in the site with bombs down. CLG are not making it easy. As look for Kusta to strike momentarily, but the longer he takes, the more Renegades will be prepared for this as NAF. They're going to try to plant in that smoke.
Oh,
Spots it, but a good hold from JKS as Kusta's going to come through the smoke now. And Renegades look prepared for this flank. Not so much for him to come down lower. Catches JKS, good damage dealt. Aim punch doesn't matter. NAF is very low, 18 HP. This is doable for Kusta. Can he clutch another one out? NAF has a nade, so he's perhaps waiting to hear the tick and then will nade in. Calls probably came in that Kusta is tagged. Yeah, NAF's outplayed him here.
Yeah, Kusta's just wasting a lot of time not tapping the bomb. That's really the biggest thing. Like, he's just trying to check everything instead of tapping the bomb and drawing Naf out. Didn't have the kit either, and so it's just not really going to work out, is it? He will go ahead and die up there. And ladder, still a lot of damage done by CLG in that round, to be fair, and they didn't have that much to work with, so at least they're keeping Renegade's economy in check at the very least. I mean, yeah, sure, they would have loved to win that round, but still some small victories being scored against the bank accounts of their opponent.
Also, another little thing to note, still didn't buy any utility around the SMG. He went full farm town. I like when players do that when they die in the previous round and just decide to pick up another SMG. No utility. Just gonna run around, try to frag out. Yeah. Utility. Kusa and FNS don't have any. Just one flash and FNS, so it's rough.
And Naf will keep on to the back 10. Again, good to keep this because you're likely not facing a lot of head-armored players in a round like this. So back 10 can still be very useful because of the mobility it has with the movement accuracy. And you can still farm, you know, the kills, and it only takes one bullet to do it. If you can land on the face of these guys. Only Finesse has that head armor to stop that.
Minute on the clock, the bomb will get picked up. Naf does get down the ladder. He does still have a smoke and a molly. Actually, everyone in Renegade still has a molly. They'll use a couple of smokes to try to get the ladder. Kusa gets caught down to 23. He has to be careful with econ pressure. That molly's actually going to burn him up and force him on top red. Perfect use skill to strike from Ivy. FNS couldn't hold it as Ricky will trade it out. And look at CLG. Hey, how they're turning this around. They're strong arming Renegades at this point as Naf and Nifty have to fight back. Ethan with a quick flank and CLG with a marvelous hold. Great utility usage, good positioning. Although Kusa may have got forced out of his position, that's just CLG knowing the positions, knowing they have a flank coming, and just playing the numbers game.
Oh, it is CLG maintaining the lead now. They have it 10-9, and Renegades will be on basically a full save here. Just the P250, a couple flashes and smoke on Naf as we are seeing them gathered up in the inner halls. Looks like they do just want to try to see if they can explode out here and get some type of bomb plant. But the problem is that two players are playing up close here for CLG, so the chances of that happening are actually quite slim. Unless they can find the frags, but Ethan holds up with the M4, and so that bomb is not going to be planted today.
Ethan should have died. Let's
Probably
be real. He definitely should have died in that situation.
I do like that they played up close though with two, just so they make sure that a bomb plant isn't going to happen. You know, just limiting their opponent's economy more and more each time.
Yeah, a lot of teams will play extremely push back, right? So they really want to squish out Renegades here. You have to imagine Ricky might have a little insight, although the team dynamic has changed quite a bit since he once was on the team, I suppose. But little insight's better than no insight. As we will see the outcome back up from Nifty. They're actually going to boost. Where's this boost for the Kusta? So they boost them on top of the site early to pick in towards Keycon. Instead of picking towards Z, or going back site, or going back green train, they boost them on the site box. That's an interesting angle.
Yeah, it's always good to try to get new angles that your opponent's not expecting. That gives you that slight edge, which could be enough to get you a frag. As Kusa will continue to hold an angle, this time more towards the front of the bomb train, no longer boosted. But no one is showing themselves over here. Did you see JKS and Naf trying to work things out over towards inner halls? Nifty and Ustillo over towards Ivy. And so they're just kind of spreading the map and taking their time.
CLG is still playing two players in towards B site. That's Cutler and Ethan. They will use a little bit of utility. Smoke down ramp. And they both still have a molly and another smoke out on Ethan. So if Renegades just hold this default for a bit longer, they're going to be smoked off again. Plus the mollies will come in when Renegades try to execute. It looks like they're just going to give Ustillo the lurk roll. He's going to come down Ivy late, try to wrap CT. As this is going to be a 3-man execute into B. Perhaps Nifty. Yeah, Nifty's going to meet up with him. So this is a flouted execution. So Cutler get the molly towards ramp. And these are the mollies I'm talking about. 20 seconds.
Look at
Time's starting to
Ustillo,
slip
though.
by. Yeah, he's gone all the way through CT. They've left Ivy open. He's gotten some timing luck. FNS has been shoulder peeking Ivy, but there goes Ustillo. He'll catch Cutler, and that's just the round-ending play, essentially. They'll get that bomb planted. Kusta legs the player pushed up close. That is Ustillo, flanked all the way around. Even Azar will get tagged up as Ricky's going to try to find the upper. It's successful. Nifty will fall. Ustillo still in a spot to deal damage, and he gets a third with his UMP. FNS is heavily tagged in connector. Ustillo will get the free upgrade and fall back, and that is icing on the cake. If you are a lurker and you are able to push out Ivy, get CT, and not get spotted or make a sound, that is just a
that's the dream scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally doesn't get any better than that when you're able to sneak all the way around and be the one to kind of leverage the round. And while they were playing to the bottom of the clock, and that's always a little bit tense, it was well worth it to be patient because of the ground that Ustillo was just gaining for free. And then he pops off those 2 kills and completely unlocks the inner bomb site without Renegades having to actually really do anything from, Brown Halls just yet. So a very crisp round that really just hinged on the fact that Ustillo got past everyone. One of those kind of crazy timings, I guess you could say.
Poor FNS, right? Because he was holding that from top green. He would turn around once in a while. He's like, huh, just no one's Ivy. I'll take this. I'll focus towards T-Con with my 3 teammates that are on the side with me. Rough.
Man, this is one of those timing things, but it keeps Renegades close to the heels of CLG, and we're seeing Renegades go really heavy-handed early in this round towards Brown Hall, spending a lot of utility to make sure that no one from CLG is able to be aggressive in box halls. Nifty will go back and grab the bomb now as well.
Kusta opens it up, Ethan. Bit of an off angle, full trust of Cutler to hold his ramp. Has to swing and help him out, and that's where his downfall happens. Has to help Cutler, who's losing a gunfight, and Ethan falls out a single frag. FNS is quick to push out a Z and push up towards first bomb train. But Nifty is the only one on site with an op, although he has support from back lanes from JKS. Kusta is trying to frag out. Very hectic at this point as Kusta's looking for these players that pushed up aggressive. JKS tries to put the nail in the coffin, but is ultimately going to be NAF. He is just outplayed, pushed through CT. Ricky's not ready for it, and Renegades continue to be tricky and sneaky beaky like.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was actually not going to go so well for Renegades because of just the fact that the positioning that CLG had on inner sight. I mean, they had the one guy up close on ladder, like so they had Cutler kind of for support. I thought that would actually get stuffed, but the fact that Cutler went down, those 2 entries onto inner from CLG were so on point. Or Renegades, I should say, the 2 inches they got onto Cutler and company into inner was incredibly on point. Then Naf just having that play from Z to kind of be the finishing touch on it. Ties everything up. And it is, in fact, I mean, both teams are kind of struggling for cash if we're 100% honest. CLG will be ones that have to take the tap out, though, in this round, as it will just be unarmored upgraded pistols, a chance for Renegades to take the lead. Which I think would be the first time they've had a lead this entire game. They have played from behind most of the way.
Yeah, you will be right.
I remember they were down 8-1 at one point and had to play back into a 9-6 half. And it's been back and forth here in the second.
Renegades just look more comfortable on the T side. Seems to just be the case. Ustillo seems to just be fitting into his role perfectly here. As Ricky has the Zeus in his hands close to ramp. Naf's going to show you how to KZ a little bit. Spotting ladder, FNS. Hasn't been spotted yet. You can just sit here and wait with his CZ. That's the bounce molly we talked about. This time it actually hit for Renegades. First time we've seen that molly hit properly. A lot of players have been bouncing it and it just lands up bottom of the ladder. That one forces FNS forward. Easy frag for them. Ustillo is allowed to push all the way to heaven. Clears heaven. Is going to hold bomb. Even gets a smoke towards Z. I mean, this round is over. There's nothing CLG can do. They only have 2 deagles, essentially, a nade and a Zeus. This round is just... It was over when it started, ultimately, due to CLG not getting the opening pick. I mean, they had no map control. And you can't really expect much in a round like this.
No, certainly not. This is, you know, CLG obviously taking a save, thinking about more of the next round. So again, Renegades will take their first lead of Train. So they're starting to steal this map away. But a team that did at one point have an 8-1 lead in this game, so they're going to be a bit disappointed that they've only been able to put together 3 rounds out of the last, what, like 11 played or something like that? Actually, more rounds than that.
A little bit more. I mean, we'll see what CLG put on the table. It's going to be the
14
single up on
rounds.
Kusta. Quiet game for FNS. I mean, other than that, I mean, CLG all weekend long, going into yesterday's BO3, all the fragging was pretty tight-knit, and it seems to be pretty much the same story here. Renegades, I mean, it's really been the JKS, NAF, and pretty much just Estillo show this entire game, right? From Estillo having those lurk kills, getting those big impact openers, NAF and JKS working together in the clutches. It's just been great work from Renegades. But again, they seem more comfortable on the cheat side, which seemed to be the case for CLG, who seem yeah,
I don't know. I feel like it was more just a slow start in general for Renegades, because they seemed really flat in like those first, you know, 8 or so rounds of the game, and then they just kind of started to wake up. People started to chiming in with kills. I will say that Az has really still struggled to find any footing in this game. I mean, I think at one point he was like 1-8 in the first half, and he never really recovered the same way Estillo did. As Estillo also was started off pretty slow, and now he's doing pretty solid. JKS has played really well throughout the entire game. That's been waking up a little bit as well, as he's kind of like the firepower that this team was hoping to add to their team, to try to add a little bit more explosiveness to themselves. And he has definitely come through for them here on Train, as we are going to see. Again, Renegades is going into a default setup. Estillo is going to be playing towards Ivy. This is kind of where they've made some adjustments, right? Because Estillo used to kind of help enter a little bit with Azza, but now you have like JKS and Nifty, or JKS and NAF, excuse me, being more of the inner guys. But NAF this time actually snuck out Olaf. Has been spotted, though, by Cutler, so he will just have to kind of retreat. I thought he had a good timing there, but doesn't wind up working out.
Jeez, I think Renegades were trying to molly sandwich, but they just ate like 4 flashes Cutler called for. That's a lot of utility for CLG to use. As, yeah, there's the molly finally get used. Cutler can be forced off that sandwich position. As Estillo and co looking to push down Ivy. No one's holding this for now. FNS is jiggling it all the way back. But with 57 seconds on the clock, Renegades have to make a move shortly. Especially with Kevin Kusta pushed up as aggressive as he is in upper round. He actually gets jiggled from JKS, so that's info gain from Renegades. They still haven't moved yet, though.
Yeah, they're trying to get some control of Ivy right now. Estillo leading that. NAF, who was Olaf, got out of there and is now going to be supporting Estillo and trying to make sure they get control over here. But Ricky, he's shutting them down on the outer yard as it does respond.
Oh, FNS can swing, though, and he'll make them pay for it as he gets 2, and Azzer will get nothing going. As CLG will keep 4 alive, and I hear myself echoing, but that's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world, hearing yourself. But Renegades will still have some cash to buy. CLG continuing to keep the game close.
Yeah, it's 12-all now. Just a really good hole outer from CLG, particularly that late peek from Finesse off of Ivy when he kind of re-aggressed it. Being able to get those kills were pretty big. And it'll square things up now. Money a factor for both of these teams. This round is worth a hell of a lot. So it will be Renegades who are the ones that are going to struggle the most with the round loss here. They would have to take a save for sure.
Barely anything really to work with. As Renegades are going to be very spread across the map. Just hoping CLG misstep somewhere. Hoping they take a peek where they shouldn't. Take a fight. Maybe an info play. Dwindle the clock down a little bit. Maybe CLG will get a little antsy trying to make a play. Almost like Ricky is now. But he's content to just stay here, I imagine. No pressure whatsoever for him to move.
You finally see Renegades start gathering up into the inner halls with the bomb on Nifty. Just Estillo still playing over here towards Ivy, maybe looking to try to do something similar as he did do a few rounds ago, but Finesse is holding his ground behind this smoke, so unlikely Estillo's going to get to sneak in. Unless they can get enough kills on the inner yard when they push in, that might free up Estillo to actually flank behind.
Oh, Oh, Ethan did spot him. He turns around, finds Hazard, finds a second on JKS. Ethan locking it down, the one-man show right now. The young man is here to play. 10 seconds for Nifty to pick the bomb and try to find Ethan, who's still working around the site.
Oh,
gets
the timing
to the
of
top
that.
train. Yeah, timing continues to be an issue in this game as Ethan, a big 4K, as he holds them from pushing into the site, doesn't fall, which is, even if he doesn't get as many frags as he did there and just stays alive, still a W. But he frags out as CLG go to 13, and they have broken Renegades late into this game.
Yeah, that was just one of those things where if you still was ever going to have a big impact on the round sneaking through Ivy, they were going to have to get their entries on the inner bomb site sorted out. It just didn't really happen, even though you still did actually kill FNS at Ivy. It just, you know, he was so separated from his only surviving teammate from the initial push on the inner yard. And so there was nothing they could really do together, and this now puts them on essentially a full Glock save, just as it with the Deagle. They're going all 5 players. Ivy, Finesse will be here with that AK. He's going to peek out. He's going to spot everyone, but he's going to go down in the process. Kusta struggling here. Going to get some support from Cutler.
Yeah, Cutler's doing what he can from sight. Still has picked up an AK. They're going to try to boost the AK on a double stack to the right here. See if he can find some kind of pick. As Naf will kind of be bait, jumps out to no success, as that's the AK down. So if there's going to be CLG getting a 14, it's too much time for us to even bother about saving the AK. I think he is just pretty much going to commit, try to get a plant. Cutler should, I imagine, get the 4K here, unless he gets cut looking the wrong way. But he's holding old bomb. Ricky will be holding this peak, and there you have it. Ricky finds his second. That's 14 for CLG. And keep in mind, Renegades, this is only a 3-run loss, although they'll have enough for their T-side buy.
And they will be able to AK up here and be able to get their buy out. But again, they're only going to have a couple more cracks at this. And if they don't win this round, when CLG's on that point, they'll obviously have to force, but it'll be working with much less than what they have now. So this is their best bet on getting their way back into this. Meanwhile, CLG's money is okay on a few of their players. Like, they still probably could take a buy in the next round no matter what, as long as they save a couple of guns. We are going to see the smokes being set up for an outer execute on the bomb train. We haven't really seen the smoke wall bomb train strat this game.
Yeah, from anyone, really, right?
So it'll be the first time we see it put to use. We'll see how CLG respond.
Well, a little miscommunication right off the get-go. Molly gets thrown in the ladder only for FNS to throw smoke at the same time. So that's a waste of a molly. This allows him to get out. He still is going to leave the charge. They leave one smoke. They leave that red smoke not there on purpose, because they throw that back smoke towards Ivy. So it's just easy entries for Renegades. They had barely any utility to work with. JKS gets 3. It's just Ethan and Kusta now. And Naf's even holding the ladder flank. Ethan's the last one up. They know he's a B player. Easy bomb plant. Easy round for Renegades. As they throw site smoke, Z smoke, and back green train smoke, and that forces the back red player to fight, and you can see exactly what happened there.
Yeah, then they wound up pushing their own smoke actually towards Z as well and catching a player off guard. So really just everything went Renegade's way that round. Just, you know, a very simple outer execute. I think you did kind of nail something that actually did have a big impact, which is that Molotov getting extinguished, or Incendiary getting extinguished in ladder room, and allowed them just to push through the smoke and just come out. Right? They don't mind coming through a smoke as long as there's going to be the pop flashes there, which there were. So everything that played out there just allowed Renegades to be able to get so much room and outer, and then they just won their duels. So well done. They needed to win that round. It was tight, and now CLG, since they didn't save any guns, are actually forced to take a save on this round, and Renegades are going to take full advantage of that as they mop things up in the outer bomb site, and they're going to tie this thing right back up 14 all.
Yeah, they don't mind losing 2 players, 14 apiece. Certainly could be the last buy for CLG here. I mean, if they don't win this, there's been no success. That's an interesting point, actually, the more I think about it. There's been no successful half buys / pistol rounds this game.
No, not really.
So this is the last chance for CLG, I'd imagine, due to how safe both teams have been playing on their cheat side, knowing when the weak buys are in play. So this could be the final round in this match, in this opening BO3.
Yeah, the tides have really kind of turned. It was Renegades whose back were up against the wall, and they could have been forced in a situation where CLG were at map point and they were having to do force buys to stay alive. But now, with Renegades winning that round, they've tied things up. They've forced CLG to take a save one round. And now, like you said, if they win this, CLG is in a lot of trouble to fight for overtime. But that opening pick from Kusta could certainly help things out.
That's what you need, right? You need someone like Kusta to turn up in moments like this. As Ethan's going to feel safe to just fall all the way back. Let Kusta hold your upper. You just smoke bottom ramp, and you just worry about holding it. There's a minute 7 clicks onto the clock. And Renegades don't have any map control, just other than upper brown, a player rotating over. So not much going their way. They do have Nifty, though, lurking out towards outer yard. He does have the op, and he's actually out T-Con. He's pushing up towards Sandwich with an AWP. Hasn't been spotted from anyone on CLG yet. Apparently, our observer hasn't spotted it yet either, but that's okay. As Nifty, keep your eye on minimap, is slowly pushing up. Will get spotted and will go down without any frags. Has gained information, but Renegades now are forced to execute towards B.
Yeah, their options are very limited at this point. They've been picked apart, and now they only have 3 players left in the late part of this round. They're going to try to see if they can't work their way out of ladder room is going to be the goal here. They do have some smokes and molotovs, maybe help them actually get out here and play, but just so many CTs left to stand and defend, and Cutler is doing the bulk of the work to end this thing off. 2 kills with that M4, 3 total for the round. All on Ustillo now on a 1v4. He gets a couple of kills, but he's out of time. And it is going to be CLG taking that point.
Oh, they want to kill him after time as well. Great play from CLG. That's going to hurt Ustillo in the long run. I mean, he already had a lot of cash built up, but if you look at Azure and Naf, they really don't have much cash. They will have to get drops from teammates. It is still going to be a comfortable buy. Utility is going to be there for the team. But CLG are one step closer to showing this out. I mean, Nifty, a lurk out T-Con with an op is daring to say the least, but to get nothing for it, that just stabs your team in the leg and they're limping out.
It all comes down to this. Are we going to see overtime? Can Renegades force the hand? Or will CLG finally lay claim to training? And they had such a big lead early on. They really let it slip away, but they still could find the victory if they punch this last one through. Everybody has a full buy in this round, so no one's going to be lacking on firepower utility. We're seeing Renegades just again open up default. Ustillo playing solo towards Ivy. A lot of more focus being put here on inner halls. Though JKS also did get control of ladder room. So that is a very important small victory to keep options open for Renegades, as it can be quite difficult to grab a lot of the time.
Well, again, they're giving room for Ustillo to work with. That fall the way back now. They will catch Ethan with a nade in his hand. Good damage through the wall, down to 62. He drops his molly and will fall back. As Nifty wants to get into this. Nice leg shot. Very quick on towards Cutler, down to 16. He gets a molly. Nifty's actually going to put it out. Looks like they want to go through this. They're waiting on a flash to come out, and I imagine they'll commit. Cutler going to be playing back sight. And there you go. Nifty's trying to go through the smoke. They're actually going to boost on top of the double stacks in the smoke. So that was Nifty to look over and look towards sight. They are now going to commit with 18 seconds. Nifty finds Ricky. FNS needs to help them. Ivy's clear. Ustillo actually kills Nifty, so that helps them out in the long run. Only a man down into this round as FNS wants to swing from old bomb. And Ustillo may check this corner. He will, but being so low, it's an easy kill for FNS. Now that he takes on, they do have kits and double flashes. JKS is holding towards that smoke. And Naf is holding all the way in towards ladder room as JKS is just the king of the site right now. Actually gets spotted from Kusta, down to 16. He'll go. He could get timing. Does they push in the site? And he will. FNS finds him. There's one back green and Naf in ladder. It comes down to timing ultimately as Azur's going to strike. Just Ethan in no time at all. Both players will swing as soon as that bomb gets tapped, and this is going to be going OT.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Wow, what a play from Renegades, digging it deep at the end when it mattered most to find the key rounds to force the hand of overtime. Wow. We are going to go right into OT, it appears. Unless the teams are going to take a little bit of a break, maybe, just to kind of talk things out a little bit. I'm sure they'd like to use this time, you know, rather than having to spend a tactical timeout, they can use the time before starting the OT to kind of talk about, you know, what's been going on in regulation, what adjustments can you make, because this is where, you know, you've run through a lot of your stuff already because you've played at all 30 rounds, and the halves have been 9-6 halves. So, I mean, you've had some success on T side, you've had some struggles, you've seen the defenses, different, you know, plays they can come up with. And so this is where you have to start bringing out something new. This is where you maybe you do something a little bit gimmicky, or you break out one of your plays you haven't done just yet. Try to throw a new curveball just to see if that can't get you that advantage, because, I mean, you're only playing 3 rounds per half here. It's a race in 19, and one little gimmick can get you a third of the way there.
Hey, Dust, you know about the giveaway? Cool. Dust doesn't, but you guys can.
Yeah, the giveaway.
Cool little thing.
Tell us about
Links in chat. Bunch of cool swag, man. Bunch of cool swag. Headphones, SSDs, all the cool stuff. Go ahead and take a peek. Also, predictions. If you want to predict, if you're a prediction king, and I mean, if you're already making bets on the game, you might as well predict as well for free. There's a prize for first, second, and third. Get your predictions in, and you can be a winner for watching Counter-Strike, which, as always, feels good, man.
Yeah, again, definitely a big shout out to all the guys who are partnering up with this to make this thing happen, which, of course, is going to be Best Buy, Intel, MSI, Western Digital, and NVIDIA. Good shit. Says, I used to work for Best Buy for many, many years, so it's cool to see them involved in a tournament. Cool to see people just kind of throwing some support. You know, weekend tournaments are fun, man, because it's a little bit different pace than a regular season where you're playing a lot of league matches over the course of several weeks. And, you know, sometimes you like the pressure isn't really there towards the end when you're trying to get those finishing touches on your record, right? To see who's going to get those last spots for playoffs or something. Whereas you get kind of that instant gratification in a weekend tournament like this, where every best of 3 is either elimination or a progression. And so it's just kind of fun to follow a tournament like that every now and then. It's a nice little change of pace.
I mean, this is one way to open up Grand Finals Day. OT on the first map of the opening BO3.
Yeah, I think it's the first overtime of the whole tournament, yeah? Pretty sure.
I think so as well, yeah. We've had a lot of firsts so far this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, this will be the first overtime. We only had one game yesterday actually go all 3 maps. That was the last one. That was Luminosity and Misfits. So, again, we were kind of talking in the pregame that we felt like this might be a potential 3-mapper. But now overtime's also in the cards, and it is MR3 10K, so economy is a factor in this overtime rule set. If you do buy up a lot in the first couple of rounds, you certainly could find yourself in the 3rd round not having much to work with. So that means like going crazy, like going double op if you're on the CT side, can actually be really costly if you don't wind up converting that, as opposed to MR3 16K, where the economy is basically not a factor and you can just throw everything every round.
Well, we will see Ethan again solo towards the B site. As Renegades will settle into a default, they'll leave Ustillo towards Ivy. Very similar to what Renegades were doing in regular time. And CLG are going to pull a second player over towards the B site. Nice and early into this round. I like this change of play from Ethan. Instead of playing aggressive like he has been pretty much the entire CT half, he's just going to jiggle from first frame with a molly in his hand. As soon as he spots someone, he'll pop that molly, fall back and allow his teammate to support him, which is Cutler in this situation, playing all the way back from Oil. Very safe setups right now.
Yeah, again, it's just that you still solo Ivy and just putting pressure on Enter. That's been like a real big focus for Renegades. This time they even have Nifty's op trying to leverage some control and Enter. He's just keeping his eye on Zeke Enter. He's keeping his eye for that rotator because they're creating pressure. He's thinking, I'm going to force a guy to rotate, but that second guy's already in Enter, so he's not going to be able to get that free peek on to Z just yet. But now he's out in the yard looking for fights.
Close range, Nifty, quick on it. We'll take down Ethan, holds towards the Z peak. And there you have it. FNS will go down as Cutler. I think he spotted. Nifty knows, but Cutler's just too quick on the trigger. We'll take him down. Ricky is coming for the flank as Cutler will finally meet his maker. That's JKS. As Kusa was thinking about rotating in towards Z and trying to fight this, but it is going to be a safe call. Ricky's going to try to fall back. Nap's posted on the angle. Ricky still wins it. But Renegades keep 3 alive. And we'll pick up the first round of OT on the T side.
Again, when you talk about overtime, you're talking about what are the little tweaks that you can make to catch your opponent off guard. I mean, they've been watching you play for 15 rounds on each half. They know what to expect. So what can you change? And I think the difference was Nifty leveraging the op on enter. I mean, that was definitely a little bit of a change because a lot of the time they were just kind of letting JKS and NAF kind of work it with rifles. And, you know, Nifty was more involved on trying to find picks at Ivy or you know, picks out of T connector. I think that's actually the first time I've really seen him just bring an op to enter as like the leading weapon. I mean, he would come in, you know, later in mid rounds with it, but that time he went there right off the bat. And, you know, those up close kills, those 2 entries with the op, that made a world of difference.
Well, CLG are going to be hurting for money a little bit, at least Ethan and FNS.
Yep.
So at least saving those 2 rifles, they're able to throw those over. It doesn't hurt in the long run, or it will hurt going down the road. As Kusta wants to peek towards Upper Brown again. And you mentioned Nifty towards inner sight has kind of been the change, and he's there again, posted on towards ramp. Though this time flush out Kusta, who goes down early without any kind of support. Ethan just going to sit on this top train. This is just looking like a free round for Renegades at this point. As Nifty gets down, spots Ethan. The player from Upper will pop some shots in, and Nifty will finish the job. CLG almost have to fight at this point. But it's a good catch on towards JKS. They put out 1 molly, but a second comes in. That's just the nail in the coffin to save. And they still have Ustilo flanking here on FNS.
If they can catch this kill, they might still consider going for it, and they could certainly catch, but Ustilo finishes off Finesse, and I think that that's going to put a halt to any thoughts of trying to go for the retake now because they need to save these guns probably. But they're still actually going for fights in their yard. Cutler's actually going to be going balls to the wall here and trying to see if he can't make this work, but now he's gone down. And Ricky, now he thinks better of it. He can save this M4 and drop one to someone else, and they'll actually have a decent buy next round. Is the thought process. So great work from Renegades, man. They're doing a good job cracking open the center bomb site.
Yeah, tip your app to Nifty. Done a nice job, as you mentioned, with the op getting down ramp, finding the opening pick. Has support from players coming out upper. That time they flushed out Kusta to start the round off.
Yep.
So a clean T side is definitely deadly. It makes the CT side, you feel a lot less pressured. You're trying to make some kind of play, especially if you had a rough CT half in regulation. If you get a clean T half in OT, I mean, it makes you feel better moving forward. As we see the buy from CLG hurting a little bit. Just as easy on FNS, op out on Kusta, no utility. 2 kits, only 2 mollies. But it looks like Renegades are not going to change a single thing. They'll send Nifty again towards ramp.
Indeed, they're just, again, trying to keep working the solo Ivy setup and really try to keep putting that pressure on enter. Nifty will now be creeping in. He might try to get a boost to look over the top of the smoke that Ethan's thrown, and he might be able to get like a little gimmicky frag out of that. In the end, though, JKS actually just pushes through with the rifle instead. Does find the entry, but it is traded back. But Nifty, oh, that would have been an op shot to hit for sure. Still creating a lot of pressure at enter, though, by himself, causing rotations, and it's not even a commitment as it's actually snuck into the outer yard. Actually, Finesse might have spotted him. I'm not 100% sure.
Could have been, based on FNS's position. But that's a great flash in. Azur can steal the back of it. FNS, yeah, now he spots him for sure. Azur's gonna peek, finds FNS, even a second on Kusta, looking for the 3rd fight in towards Z. CLG is just getting mowed down into a 2v2 we go. Now this is the last round of the first round of OT, so CLG are gonna commit to this. What we will see is still getting himself back green. Azur will sit in towards ladder, or excuse me, E-box. So it's very similar to the ladder position where both players can swing at the same time. Spot the bomb. Ethan will clear old hell, rightfully so. As Astillo's down and out. Azur the last one standing. Molly towards ladder. Ethan may just stick this defuse. Full trust in Ricky. Azur's not taking the bait. He's not going to swing on this. Ethan gets the defuse. And that's a little salt in the wound for Renegades. As you think a jiggle peek would have been in order at least.
I guess he was just hoping that that first tap was to try to draw him out. So he was just trying to make a read, especially when it's tough because if you feel like if you jiggle peek in a 2-on-1 like that, you know that that guy's just doing that just to draw you out so the second guy could kill you, or they can both face you at the same time, and then you're having to shoot at 2 different targets in different positions and try to come up with something. So he was hoping that that first tap was a false one, but unfortunately for him, it was not. Still not a bad T side though from Renegades, all consider getting 2 out of it when it was the more troubled side for these teams. Like both teams were finding 9 rounds on their CT sides. Or no, that was 9 rounds per T side, I guess, right? So I guess the trend is kind of continuing of the teams having a better time on their terrorist sides.
Well, here we go now. CLG, are they going to keep with their very default methodical player? We're going to see some quick plays from them early on in OT. Looks like boosting Kusta is going to try to be the answer.
Ooh.
You hate to see it, right? I mean, you have the flash come in, you're half blind, you miss the jump, and you get picked early on from NAF, of all people. That's a rough way to start off your first T round. A flash pick towards ladder. Ethan will at least retrade it. Now, there's no real reason for Renegades to do that. Regaining ladder room would almost solidify the round, but after you get the opening pick like that, I don't know. It's really risky.
Yeah, it's true. It is a risk. But again, with ladder room being so coveted by terrorists and it being so hard to do, trying to get it back, you can certainly see why. But yeah, it did cost him a player there. JKS looking to see if he can't play a little bit aggressive here towards upper inner with that M4, but will actually, in the end, draw back. As he is somewhat alone. There has been a rotation from NAF, though, just now. As he still actually pushed out Ivy. It's a lot of information to gain. It allows NAF to more comfortably rotate the help out here at inner, but JKS still goes down nonetheless.
NAF's going to try to hold on. He has a teammate rotating that's nifty, so double ops to try to lock down the site. As a bomb is going to go down. Man advantage now for Renegades. As Ethan finds a favorable engagement. Is still out. Down ramp he will come. Pre-fires Cutler into the grave. It's just young Ethan. Bomb behind him. He hears both players. He knows where both of them are. But he's just going to get double peeked. Gives time for Renegades to group up. Gives them time to swing them. If he tried to find an individual fight early, perhaps he would have had a chance. Instead, that's going to be Renegades picking up 18. From what started off as a good opening pick from them, fell apart early as the refrag came in. But a great retake from CLG, or from Renegades.
Yeah, they really had some great team play on that retake, especially that pop flash allowed them to come down inner halls and grab the guy, that pop dog. As well as he still has flank just coming in a big way through Ivy. Not only did he get the information to help NAF rotate, but he was also able to be a flanking factor later on. So let's take all that together, and Renegades are now 1 round away from stealing train away from CLG. And getting that 1-0 advantage in the series. Kusta moving really fast out into outer with that AWP. Gets past all the utility and sneaks into Olaf. But so we do have Ethan going down that ladder. Kusta is putting this up to use though. Found 1 kill and laid another player. And that guy got trapped, and so CLG they're sticking around. They're hanging into this.
Not going down without a fight. JKS alone to hold towards B site. Very pushed back. Stillo may swing on Ivy momentarily. There is that finesse lurking about. The bomb is down by top ladder. So CLG kind of have a lot of play to work with. A lot of time. Finesse may get caught out with a nade out. Is able to switch back. He still wants to aggress. Doesn't want to let Stillo get away from him, but if Finesse wins that duel, Ricky finds JKS. It is just NAF and AK, and in a 1v4. Although CLG left bomb, but it doesn't really matter if Goose can hit the ringer like that. And CLG are not going down just quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good job by CLG to trap that player inside ladder room and grab that kill. That gave them the man advantage, and it forced Renegades to make a play to try to even things out and get information. And the play they went for was the Ivy push against Finesse, but Finesse, you know, faced it and handled it and was able to stop that from being a factor. So you kind of combine those two things, and that gives CLG the round. And now it could be 2 overtimes to decide this thing if CLG can find this one, or Renegades, they still have a chance to win here and now. They can find this one, though they are going to be working with a little bit more limited equipment value, having those 3 UMPs instead of rifles in their hands. You're going to see CLG putting a lot of emphasis here on brown halls and perhaps maybe ladder room as well.
Yeah, Azar is going to be back in towards his lovely ladder room. JKS has to play aggressive with the UMP. He does have nifty spottings up, or at least. So he's going to hold on to his molly nifty. We'll go ahead and smoke ramp. Kus is going to get a boost. They shouldn't be able to spot nifty out here. Unless he does that, just that, runs across top trains. They know Kusta's home and lurking somewhere, and Nifty's lucky to be alive.
Oh, Nifty knows where that op is now.
They might
I think he's
take the
actually
bait.
peeking it.
Yeah.
He was peeking it for a second to see if he was going to go for it again, but not going to happen. That would have been a nice pick to get if you're Kusta. That would have really helped to make things easier. But no harm, no foul.
Well, now Nifty will use his molly behind the smoke. Great counter flash in. JKS finds Ethan. Now they know exactly where he is, but JKS somehow still alive. Hasn't been traded yet. Ethan will go down. Cutler to follow suit as they are down to 3 members. And look at Nifty taking the peek. FNS falls. Ricky and Kusta last 2 remaining. And NAF is just trying to end this. They want this game over with. And it's looking more and more like the case. Kusta, the one-man wrecking machine right now for CLG. Just narrowly misses Ustillo. 8 seconds. Has to get the bomb and plant. And it's hard to find a safe space right now. And he surely will get caught. 3 seconds. And that is how the game ends. A nail-biter to the final seconds as Renegades will take their CT side and take map 1.
Indeed, it was a nail-biter of a game. Very close halves, 9-6 halves. We'll say, of course, that it still was kind of one-sided at a time, right? I mean, CLG was up 8-1 at one point in that first half, but the recovery from Renegades was on point. The second half was a fairly back-and-forth affair, kind of like 3-round winning streaks from each team to respond to each other, and it took the extra rounds to decide it, but in the end, Renegades actually steal away Train from CLG, and Train actually was at a map that Renegades were performing on very well in the scene, so that's a good one to get, especially now that you're going on to Inferno, which has been okay for Renegades. They haven't played it a lot just yet, but the results have been all right so far. And you have a CLG team who's really struggled on this map to get official results on. I mean, their win rate on this map is really low. It's probably the lowest win rate of the maps they actually play. So this could give Renegades a good edge to perhaps just 2-0 the series and move on to the finals later on today.
Perhaps a 2 on the horizon. We'll find out. We're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors. When we come back, we'll jump into Inferno.
Yeah, make sure you do get on that giveaway as well, as the link will be in chat.
Gaming is demanding, and streaming even more so. We pride ourselves in knowing what it takes to build a perfect system.
I've been gaming and streaming my entire life. I do it because it's my passion. The one thing my audience appreciates the most is the energy I bring to the table. And when I bring energy, that's when I connect with my audience.
Yo, Renegades, thank you for the 10 months, man. Appreciate the resubscribe.
Yeah, I get excited about the little things, like cache and I/O improvements. We take a lot of time to make sure that every system we build maximizes performance. Now, with more cores and threads, the potential is so much higher.
So when I'm streaming, there's usually a lot going on. The last thing I want to worry about is my computer going down. Everything just has to work.
With more PCI lanes, we get a ton of headroom for graphics cards and SSDs. Intel's making it easy for us to give streamers responsive systems with more bandwidth, scalability, and overclocking potential.
To stay competitive, I gotta grind, I gotta stay sharp.
Gaming is going to be around forever, and we're always going to be there
We're always practicing and pushing.
until it's perfect.
My name is Tim, aka Tim the Tap Man, and I play video games on the internet. I would say if you come to my channel, for the most part, you're going to see some sort of FPS getting played. I'm kind of the person that once I find a game I like, I sink my teeth into it. So for the past year, I've been playing Overwatch, and first-person shooter type of games is what you're generally going to see. I've been playing those games, Counter-Strike, World of Warcraft, I mean, since I was 13, and then Overwatch has only been out for a year, but I have logged way too many hours into that game already. So the competitive nature of it, growing up, you know, played a lot of sports and stuff, and have that competitive kind of root in me. And I like to win, even though in my old age, I don't do that near as much anymore. Feel like I can't keep up with a lot of the young bucks out there playing now. I personally yell more than I probably should, if you ask people that, you know, live with me, but like, let's go, everyone! Like, you know, really excited about whatever. It has almost 2 meanings. You can do it in the pre or the post. So before whatever you're doing or after whatever you're doing, you know, it's perfect. Let's go! The reason that I started streaming was when I was in college back in 2013. I used to watch a guy by the name of Soda Poppin'. I always thought, man, it's so cool. This guy's playing video games, people are watching. So basically, the root of it was, you know, I like video games and I like people. I like hanging out with people and I like video games. So I thought streaming kind of was a perfect mesh of those two things. So started doing it back in 2013, and you know, here we are today. Very, very gratefully. Becoming a streamer has changed my life in regards, well, to a couple different ways. One way I'd 100% say is just getting to connect with so many people on a personal level and meeting viewers that have been watching me, you know, for 2 to 3 years, you know, people that you've never put a face to, and then you go to an event and you can see these people and talk with them. It's a really cool feeling. But also, you know, I'm living the dream out too, you know. To be able to wake up and stream every day is a blessing. That 100%, you know, it's a dream I'm living out, and I can't thank people that, you know, watch enough. As far as tips for streaming goes, I think at the core of it, my first thing I always tell people is to have fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, it's gonna be a tough time for you. For me personally, CyberPower, if I have an issue with something, I can reach right out to them and they'll be on it. You know, I need obviously a reliable computer, but on top of that, you know, if something goes wrong, God forbid, they're gonna be right there to help me out with it. It's almost a security blanket for me. I love Intel. The reason that I trust Intel is because that's what I've been using for so long. It's like I grew up with them, you know? Back when I was 13, I put the first one in the computer, and that's like a bonding relationship right there. And ever since that point, and having a good experience with Intel, I've not wanted to look away. Don't fix what isn't broken. You know, I'm very blessed to be in the position I am, very grateful that CyberPower, you know, wants to work with me, and I understand the position I'm in is a very, you know, fortunate one, and I'm very, very humbled to be able to do what I do, and can't do it without you guys. So thanks so much, anyone watching the stream, whatever, supporting, appreciate you guys, man. My name is Tim the Tap Man. I use CyberPowerPC powered by Intel.
you stare at me the same. You took one look, but you play me like a game. I can see. You took one look, and now you stare at me the same. You took one look, but you play me like a game.
Welcome back, everyone, to the CyberPowerPC Extreme Series, Game 2 between CLG and Renegades. Keep in mind, Renegades have one map advantage as we're moving to their pick of Inferno. Should be, well, I'm hoping it's close, but Renegades have more experience on this map. They have a higher win rate. They've recently beat Rise, while CLG have been a little lost out on it.
Yeah, I mean, they've played it a lot, but the results haven't really been. I think they've only won it like maybe one time out of 12 times they've played it or something like that. So the odds are a bit stacked into an official results setting. So we are going to see Renegades looking to work very quickly up lane. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Zero hesitation, but Finesse doing pretty good work with Kusta and company to hold this off, actually. And wow, that was, you blink and it was over.
Yeah, that was a solid hold from the player in Graveyard, the player sporting from backside. There was a player in Pit that actually fell off and got a frag before they died as well. CLG did a nice job, mainly Cutler and Kusta, as you said. Great work from them. Renegade's now going to be sent down to just the force by pistols. They haven't really been force buying too much, though, after they lose pistol. At least on train, they didn't do it.
That is true.
But they're going to go in all here, so perhaps it's a map choice.
Yeah, I think it's just all about what idea you actually have. What do you think you can accomplish? Maybe they have something that they like to do in force buy rounds on T side. As again, they've only played it just a couple of times with this lineup, so not too much information known about the process for them on this map. You're going to see Ustillo, though, being able to get the entry here, but that's a good catch from Kusta, kind of making sure that the trades favor CLG in middle.
Well, JKS will pop a couple shots through. They will land on towards Kusta down to 48. Has to be careful now how he wishes to reapproach and reaggress. JKS is just going to wait the smoke out. The bomb is here on Naf's back. They do have 2 smokes and 2 flashes. We could see a smoke turn on the left side. Instead, it's just a dry peek from JKS. Not using any of that utility. Azar and Naf want to try to get out here. Back away and spotted. Ethan has to commit to one of these fights instead. Gets caught up in between both of them. And now Kusta's in danger of falling down to 5 HP. Naf has the bomb and would love a plant. CLG have pulled all 3 members towards A, though. With 30 seconds, you'd love to slowly work out. Comes down to timing if FMS spots me first, but the P250 comes out on top. Naf has a smoke, and he's even going to wait timeout. He's going to see if CLG will pull a player back to B, perhaps. He's going to sneak his way out. Keep in mind, Kusta is heavily tagged on sight. As Ricky swings, and there you have it. Kusta swings on his contact. So they will go ahead and double peek it out. Ricky, good on him to come out first, because that's just an ace from Kusta.
Yeah, really well done from Kusta. I mean, he started off at the beginning of the round doing it nicely, just making sure that, you know, the fact that Ustillo was able to get that entry, and if Kusta was able to, you know, wrap up those 2 kills, right? I mean, that's really the biggest thing. Not only that, but in that 1v2, just also played really well. Just kind of making sure that they peeked him together. Not letting him have a chance to pull off any shenanigans. And it will be a full Glock save from Renegades now.
1 pop flash is all they have to work with. And FNS only has a CZ. He will get the deep molly. That's going to keep Renegades at bay. Little does he know. But it will keep them back. I can see them just committing on this. No reason not to. It's pretty much a throwaway round. FNS will fall back towards the balcony. Cutler will be there in towards Graveyard. It's going to be a pretty easy hold from CLG. FNS is even going to fall, so maybe that sound cue will prompt Renegades to just go ahead and push. There's that one flash. There's Cutler striking from Graveyard and Kust in sight. This is going to be a mop-up. Naf may be able to clean up Cutler, but I don't even imagine that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much you could hope for in that round. You know, just pop flashing everyone through porch. I mean, maybe you get lucky, close distance on pit and get a kill and give yourself a chance to get a bomb plant. That's really all they were hoping for, but it's not going to come to fruition. It will be a 3-0 start from CLG. And again, they did lose that first map in overtime, so they need to find a way to get a win here on Inferno so they can stay alive in these semifinals. We are going to see the full buy from Renegades, however. They are going to have the AKs out on everyone. No AWP involved this time around. And they're just going to go for, you know, fairly default stuff. Just letting you still on JKS, try to get control of apartments. And I'm sure at some point, once the smoke goes down at the bottom of Banana, they may start trying to fight for Banana control as well. But Ethan and Ricky, they're getting very aggressive. Not going to give them a chance to work for that space for free.
We won't see CLG fight towards any apps at the beginning of the round. The recent changes to Inferno, these walls are pretty much paper thin. Almost every wall in that apps is spammable, damageable, and fraggable. Making new words up on the spot. Cutler's going to be in Cubby.
I just thought about Lunchables for some reason when you said all that.
Oh, dude, Lunchables are... You grew up on them too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Pizza one's the best one, confirmed. It's going to find Ethan. Cutler swings. At least he gets 2 frags in that position. Kusta, in the meantime, will peek from porch as Azure doesn't spot the player in sight. That's FNS. Perhaps he lived a bit longer than he should have. This is just cleanup from Renegades now as Ricky's going to come up towards mid. But the bomb is down, so this gives some kind of hope for Ricky. That smoke is a tell sign that they're going to try to get the bomb. Ricky, can he get good timing here? Oh, nope, denied. That timing was certainly not on his side.
So the first gun round will go to Renegades, and it was a little bit dicey, though. I mean, they definitely were struggling because Banana was being pressured really well by Ricky and company over there, but they were able to respond to it nonetheless and be able to put their first round on the board. And this means that CLG will have to buy down to their bottom dollar here right away because they are in fear of being reset, essentially. They would have to take a full save, and Renegades could tie this thing right up if they're unable to convert this round. As again, we are going to see Renegades just open up. Default. This time it'll be Nifty and Ustilo kind of working over towards apartments. JKS will slowly start meeting up with them, however.
No aggression from CLG to start this one off towards Banana. I like this map for the sense that you can either, as a CT, fight right off the get-go. I mean, immediately fight and have a good chance of out-fragging the T's towards Banana. Or just simply turtle up and play the sites. There's a lot of a leeway. And it's still out. Will come out Boiler, and it doesn't even matter. CLG have no problems locking down mid. Not a single trade frag will come in from Renegades. Azure and Co are going to attempt to go through the smoke. And the Co being just Naf in this situation. Ricky's going to get himself into first oranges. Azure won't spot a single thing. And this is looking more and more like a CLG round.
They've really defended on all fronts, haven't they? Particularly Cutler coming up big in this round. And it just has Naf alone. They have a decent amount of time left on the clock, but their options are just pretty much all closed off, and their money is also pretty low, so perhaps holding on to head armor, utility, AK, UMP is probably way more worth it than running up against the brick wall of 5 players, so they will decide to hold on. And it's great that CLG won this round flawlessly because their own economy was in jeopardy. So making sure they don't have to do a lot of rebuying in the next round will certainly do them well to start saving up some cash for later. And so they will move up to the 4-1 lead.
Interesting thing that I don't know if I've heard anyone bring up. It's actually harder to save as a T on this map. Like due to the changes, due to it being Inferno. The old Inferno, one way in towards T spawn. So if you had 2 players up, you just crossfire the entrance. Now there's 2 ways in, and there's actual less cover in towards the T spawn. So if the CTs did hunt there, perhaps there's less of a chance Azure and Azure and Naf stay alive there. They will hold on the AK and utility and the UMP. I'm surprised they're not investing around this. We need $1,500 in JKS. You only have 1 round loss. I guess it's a decision you make on the fly. Do you want double save? Do you invest? And it looks like the save's what they're going to go with.
Yeah, just using the 2 guns and utility that Azza and Nav carried over, and then they've got a couple of P250s around it, so they give themselves a small chance to pose a threat, but they keep their money about even going forward, trying to, you know, save up for a little bit later. We are going to see Ricky and Ethan just holding this crossfire here at the top of the net.
Yeah, good shoulder peaks. Coming in. And Ethan's going to flash over. Ricky's going to swing into it a little bit, but Ethan has to be careful here. If he gets caught out, it's a lot of utility on the floor, and Ricky will have 0 support. The bait jump across won't work out, as these players are just going to flat out take the peaks and take the duels. As Ethan's looking at anchored CT, and it's looking all too easy for Ricky in sight with the help from Ethan. As they find 2 apiece, and it's just a still out, no armor, 12 HP, and that's round. Ethan gets a third, 5-1, clean from CLG.
Indeed. As I mean, we were kind of talking about how CLG have had their struggles on Inferno, right? The results haven't been there, but they actually made a lot of changes around whenever they went to DreamHack Montreal, because I think they were trying to solve that problem, right? That things weren't going so well. And their CD positions have been completely swapped around. Like, you know, Ricky and Ethan are now playing B. They used to be the other way around. They used to play A. So I think that's one of the adjustments CLG have tried to make to be more successful on Inferno, is to just kind of reposition people on what their role is on CT side. And so far in this particular match, it's serving them well. They're up 5-1. They have Renegades again on the save. They're going to try to push up middle, but a 2-for-1 from Kusta.
Kusta heating it up when they need him. Cutler going to try to lock down the A site. He's good for 1. Zazzer knows there's one more towards CT. Bomber's down on his right. FNS is going to play first pit. And if he's slowly working around with P250, they should be put to rest, put to bed. Next round is where he'll come back to life. Now CLG, not as clean as the previous 2 rounds. They keep 5 alive, but 3 alive, just stopping Renegades from getting any momentum. 6-1, and it's Inferno's weird. I always find like NA teams at least do better on the T side of Inferno. So if you can have a good CT side on Inferno, generally speaking, you should win the map. I don't know, just from like watching NA teams play, they prefer T side majority of the time. It's odd.
Yeah, I think this map is actually a lot more balanced now in Inferno. Like, it used to be really heavily CT-sided, but I think that there's just more opportunity for turrets now because, for one big thing, you can't just stall out Banana forever with utility on the CT side anymore. I think that's really helped T's have a little bit better time, leaving their options open in late rounds. So we are going to see Renegades, though, looking to take no hesitation as they will be working up lane very quickly.
Cutler still alive on single box. JKS slowly going to work on the side of the smoke. We could see JKS and Naf just hide in pit. I mean, they have so much time on the clock. If they just fall silent, perhaps they'll overthink themselves. But with Ethan coming up mid and not hearing any sound cues, maybe they'll think they pushed all the way out. And I'm pretty sure CLG have a really good read on this situation. But with Ricky starting to hold towards CT, they really don't know. The more time that clicks by, perhaps they're going to pull a player off the A site and put them over to B, and that's exactly what's happening. Ricky's going to piece out. Ethan's going to push out towards T-spawn a little bit. Question is, will Naf check the box? He's good, going to. Cutler goes down. What a play from Renegades. Now JKS can support Naf as he's going to have to hold lane. JKS will hold towards A apps. They have both have mollies and a flash to make a retake a reality. As that flash is going to allow Naf to peek from sight, he gets into a better position. There's the counter flash. Naf's going to hold for the peek. He's good. Ethan goes down. It's just Ricky. Molly towards the box to try to force Naf out. That molly will spread to him. He's actually going to die to the fire. Now it's Ricky in a 1v1 against JKS, but the clock is ticked so far down, he has little to no time. JKS peeks and JKS wins it. That's Renegades just being very sneaky.
Yeah, very sneaky, but it's also worth noting that for the early round portion, it's just a change of pace. I mean, we've been often seeing them just playing very default, very methodically, you know, getting that apartments control, waiting out banana. You know, if CTs are aggressive, they kind of just wait it out and then re-aggress later. If they're given the chance, they'll take, you know, top control of banana and just kind of, you know, leave all their options on the table. But that round, they committed to something really early, and as a, he did clean up really nicely, right? He got some key entries to help that even get into the 2-on-2, and then, as you said, some crafty plays to finish it off. As we are back into a Renegades round where they will go back to their default, right? As continuing to work B per usual. Nifty is going to be supporting him this time around. As you still on JKS get that apartment control, so just building that foundation in this round, going back to their roots. But Kusta, he's already sniffed out one as he put that op into the apartments and took one out.
Could see Azir go through the smoke. There's a gap in it. He'll hold CT. Both players from CLG are playing towards first oranges. One's boosted on second. Ethan will be holding in first oranges itself. So they isolate these players. They have a good chance. They're going to swing. Ricky was playing counter flash, so Ethan all alone. But as Molly burns Nifty, all of a sudden this round is starting to look good for CLG. As Naf has to plant this bomb before that smoke dissipates. They don't have one to re-smoke. And Ustillo needs to get here to help him out. Because Naf actually has Scavenger. So we'll find another smoke. And he has to play an off angle. He knows being a man down, he has to do something risky. And jumping up on top of emo boxes may be the play. With Ustillo going to swing on contact. The molly towards quad. It gives Naf more time to continue to hold. As that molly will force CLG all to go towards Chapel. With little time remaining, Kusa can't afford to wait up this molly almost. He's going to start to try to peek. Naf will swing. He gets the first traded immediately from Kusa. Ustillo 1v2. But what's time looking like by the time they get here? It's going to be tight. I think Kusta has it, however. Oh my goodness. We're talking milliseconds. See, that's a situation where you think maybe if I had in-game music on, I would have been able to tell, but that was so close.
That was
well played on
down to the
Naf,
wire.
right? I mean, it still did a great job of just staying alive and using his utility to help Naf take those engagements, but damn.
Yeah, so Renegades stringing together a couple in a row, and they're starting to get the money low on CLG, so if they could win this one, it could be a 2-for-1 deal type thing, but they also need to worry about their own economy being reset. They're also pretty low, and they've had to rebuy into UMPs onto 3 of their players, actually, so this could be a 2-for-1 for whoever wins it, to be honest. Whoever loses this is taking a save, that's for sure. As again, Renegades will keep things familiar with their defaults, but they will be denied banana access early on this time around. Ethan will actually hold it by himself. Ricky's already begun to rotate to the A side of the map, actually. And once this smoke goes down, Ethan's going to have a hard time because there's no utility left to keep this position. He's going to have to fade back at some point.
Well, we haven't seen banana aggression yet, at least to this caliber. They are going to molly logs, so this is the corner they're going to check. Ethan ultimately has to get 2 here to make this round doable. Got flash, thinks Nifty, not enough. This is the floodgates open. As Led Zeppelin would say, the levee is broken, and Renegades are going to take full advantage of it. Molly out their own smoke out their own molly. So there's a gap for Ricky to work with. Catches 1 player on the cross, still looking good for Renegades. As rotations are going to come through, but look how slow CLG are being about this. It's very weird to see 1 player rotating quickly, Kusta the op, and leaving 2 players in A. I think that's just a tell sign of undecisiveness.
Yeah, maybe they're thinking about whether they should save or not. Is probably the thought process because the money is obviously very low. Maybe you just save all these guns and instead of trying to go for the retake. But now they are starting to try to go for the retake.
They've wasted a lot of time. They're gonna have to make up for it. And trades is not what they need here. They come out with a man advantage. JKS swings. Good on Kusta to find the refrag as they're just Naf alone single pillar, and FNS will put the final bullets. And no time. It seems like a replay. Kusta's gonna die. Even FNS will die too. That is the worst case situation that could have happened for CLG there.
There was a kit too over there by Dark Corner on the right side as well. So Maybe if they could have gotten that kit a little bit faster, they might have been able to pull off the defuse, but nonetheless, it's not going to happen. And so it is one of those situations now where it was worst case scenario. I think you really hit the nail on the head with that one. I mean, there was some hesitation, maybe thinking about saving, but then they decide to go for it. They go all the way through, they get all the kills, but then they wind up saving no guns and not winning the round. So definitely a tough pill to swallow.
I'm going to bring up a quote that Anders said. Hesitation is devastation in Counter-Strike. I said it yesterday, but I think it applies perfectly to that round. If they rotated as soon as they knew what was happening, wanted to commit, perhaps that wouldn't have happened. They would have had time for that defuse. And maybe their communication would have been a bit tighter, and the kit would have been picked up. And now Renegades, already, with a 2-man advantage, is still out. Knows the weapon's been picked up. Will get pushed. The CZ is good for damage, but that's all. Still is going to fall. Knows the AK is gone. This round's shaping up nicely for Renegades.
Yeah, this should be pretty much in the books for them, as there's only 2 players left for CLG, and they're looking to try to save what they can. They actually did collect an AK, so that will get carried over into the next round. This next round, they will be on a 4-round loss bonus, and they have the money, so they definitely are going to get a buy in the next round. But it would be nice still to have, you know, at least one free gun. It still does allow you to buy maybe a little bit more utility, or save up some cash for later. So that is what Cutler's looking to do here inside the site.
They have countered all logic, and Renegades have found a way back into this game.
Hey!
I had a... Well, that was kind of original, right? Maybe.
It's not bad.
It wasn't bad. Gotta get him somehow. Alright, Cutler gets 2 there somehow from sight. Sound. At least the
That's
AK
spray
will get
control, dog.
It was solid at first. Cleaned up near the end. Definitely harder than what it looks. Down to the left first, back to the right, then back to the left to finish it up. So the op comes back out on Kusta. No armor behind this one. Renegades. I mean, both teams. This is almost a swing round, isn't it? I mean, this is one of these pinnacle rounds that really defines how the rest of this first half's going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. The way the money's sitting right now definitely can really determine, because, I mean, CLG could be right back to saving if they lose this, and that's where Renegades could actually take their first lead in this map. Or it could be that CLG could finally start, you know, extending their lead, right? They're still up by a round. They definitely could force Renegades into saving territory with the loss here. And that could really kind of give them a little bit more of a gap to work with, make things a little bit more comfortable. So, yeah, this is indeed a pivotal round in this half, as Renegades will fight to get control of top banana. They don't really have too much emphasis on apartments control this time around. JKS is not over there, so I think they are just looking to do something and maybe a little bit faster on the B side now. They definitely have the utility to do like one of your standard B hits, no doubt. As I say that, they kind of are maybe thinking things out a little bit more. JKS and NAF are starting to kind of reassert themselves towards middle. So maybe a fake's even in order.
We'll see if CLG are going to take the bait. We haven't seen one yet, one of these hard commitment fakes. They're going to go ahead and smoke CT. Flash come over for Nifty to peek towards sight. And he is going to go through the molly and all. He's actually going to B-hop through the smoke and fall silent. They have pulled FNS over, so Nifty's dead. What? FNS had his knife out. Not ready for Nifty. That is the ideal situation for Renegades. Cutler gonna do his best to bring it back, but it is all Renegades as Kusta gets spotted towards the pit. Not much he can do and denied from his Stillo. This round is going Renegades' way. I think CLG are almost forced to save.
They are, so... Renegades just working things out again, and CLG will just have to hold on to these 2 M4s because they're going to have really nothing else to work with in this next round. Money is so low. Even with, you know, their approach to the maximum loss bonus, it's still going to be tough without these 2 M4s carried over. With these 2 M4s carried over, they certainly could consider buying around it. It just kind of depends on what they want to do. If they want to have some type of force buy going into this next round where they have like some M4s and maybe some like UMP armor nade sets, or whether they want to just say, all right, we'll just, you know, maybe, you know, buy armor pistol and play around the 2 M4s and see if we can do something, but make sure we have money for later. But no, they are going to go ahead and get the AWP out on the Kusta. They are going to go ahead and pick up the UMP. They actually only had the UMP one player, and that was Cutler because he dropped an AWP. So it actually turns out to be a pretty solid buy.
Yeah, they have everything on the table that they certainly need. Still is going to gain AF control nice and early. JKS will be there. Be there in a minute, he says. Gain boiler control. Going to peek towards long haul. As soon as he gets flashes. There you have it. That's how you get AF control clean without having any issues and not a single point of damage taken. This is how you gain banana control. Molly sandbags. Avoid the flash or smoke that you see coming over from CLG. And almost bait out more utility from CLG as you're forcing them back in towards CT. And that's the beauty of a nice default, especially on a map like Inferno. You bait out so much utility early, force the CTs to fight, and even if you just get utility and force them back into the sites, that's the whole point of a default. And it works wonderful right now into this round.
Yeah, so just that foundation has been established as Naf and Azza will be holding out towards B. You still has already controlled brackets with Nifty. JKS will come off of balcony and just kind of keep the pressure up with the rest of his team over towards lane. Nifty's just slowly creeping in with that scoped in AWP. Flash comes in, but he'll just wait it out. Ooh, spots that barrel, shoots him in the head through the wall. Well done by Nifty.
Got a little ballistic bullet there on FNS in the second one. And Cutler, a little antsy on the trigger, will get caught out. Oh, well.
Is there a need for that, JKS?
There really is.
Someone call PETA. That really wasn't necessary at all.
They get the entries, they go untraded, and he kills a chicken still. Ethan playing all right.
Hello?
No one turned around?
That is very surprising to me.
Azure didn't move.
I think Nifty is aware of it now. He's like, wait a second.
Ghost?
He's like, wait a second.
Is there a ghost? Did I click E on it by accident? Like, he's onto him, but he's a little confused now.
Oh man,
they have money though. They really want to hunt this. I mean,
absolutely.
They can afford to lose some AKs. Yeah, look at Ricky, and there he is. Nifty will finally find the sneaky door player. So Renegades will take a lead for the first time in this game. Wait,
yeah, really well done.
That? Yeah.
Yeah. Really good entry there from Nifty, obviously, with AWP. And they were creeping up lane, and they were playing pretty passive on pit and sight, so no one really picked up on the fact that Nifty was just slow walking up. He didn't make any noise. He stayed scoped in even when he got blinded, which was big, because they never had to hear, like, the unscoping sound or anything like that, so really sneaky stuff to get that opening pick. Missed a shot pit, which worried me, but then JKS was so quick to respond. And then I think you kind of hit it like Cutler was a little bit antsy on that boosted spot, kind of shot a little bit early, and gave them a chance to pick up on him real quick, and so just cleanly moved through lane. I think they, went 3 for 1?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's about as good as it gets, and now they have a CLG team that has just what CZs to work with.
Ethan may get mollied out of position here. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. Man, I need my eyes checked, Dust. You know any good, you know? My
eyes are shit too, man. I mean, I'm the one wearing glasses, to be fair, so.
I have glasses. I just don't know where they are.
You said you're wearing contacts?
No, I don't know where my glasses are.
Awesome.
I lost them 6 months ago. My eyes aren't bad. They're still good. They're not bad. They get the job done.
Reasonable.
They get the job done.
You probably should get some new glasses.
Yeah, I probably should. 2 people A site, 1 player in pit for CLG. As they will leave Azure alone towards the B site to cause a ruckus. Perhaps throw his molly, throw a flash, try to catch one of these rotators. Well, it looks like CLG, the more the clock ticks down, the more they get a little scared. The more they want to find some info. They know they only have CZs and very little utility, so they have to make kind of a contact play. Have to make some kind of aggression, and that's not the play you want to make. Cutler gets caught out in the open. They will get the 1 AK on the opposite side of the map. Honestly, I'd love to see them save. Just to the I don't think it's going to happen, though. Although you do have max loss. Everyone's sitting around 2,300. Doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, especially with Ethan finding Stillo here. But Naf being close up gets the refrag. And Kustic should fall, if not just fall off at this point.
So they will be able to carry over an AK at least in the armor of Kusta, so that'll give them a little bit of something to work with in this next round. Obviously, they're at max loss bonus, and they've taken mostly a save, so they'll get a full buy next round, no problem. And I mean, the thing is, like, CLG, it just seems like they're losing out on some duels now is really the biggest thing. I mean, I think they do well at creating pressure at Banana when need be. They seem that, like, know their positions really well. It's just the fights have not gone in their favor lately. Renegades have been really on point, particularly Azza. I feel like his entry power has been really on point. I mean, Nifty had a big round with the AWP, obviously, up lane. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty nuts. You know what else is pretty crazy? Is that even though Renegades are winning this game 8-6, not a single player on their team's positive. That's pretty nuts when you think about it.
I mean, that also comes down to CLG just having some flubby rounds, huh?
Yeah, because they were
timings off, right?
Right. I mean, they were up 6-1 at one point, right? So they were getting a lot of frags early on in the game, and it's Renegades have had to play catch up these last 7 rounds.
It's rare though that you see this.
Yeah.
We'll see if that trend's going to continue. 2 players porch. Cutler is in a position where if he gets flashed, he is ultimately dead. So he does get timing, swings around, catches these players as he jumps out. As Nifty and Naf have to bring it back. Naf wants a re-peek into it, spots a player towards Archway, and Nifty's going to stick the plant. CLG only have 2 flashes for the retake. Nifty and Naf both have a molly. Look for them to use those momentarily. As CLG are not sweating. They have kits. They know what's at stake here. A 9.6 would be great for Renegades. Ricky gets spotted, takes a shot. Nifty, with a CZ of all weapons, takes down Ethan. And Nifty's even going to push towards Arch. He's going to get into Library Cubby. He's in a prime position. And that's just Naf, the power of the pit. Gets one, is on Ricky, 1v2. Not going to happen. Naf finds a 3K, and that is Renegades. Well, Naf's positive now.
Yeah, that's a 2-on-4 victory, and yeah, you're right, Nat. This one going positive on the half, 13-11, only one to do so on his team. But again, they just played from behind. They were really struggling, but I feel like once they got their money in order, because to be fair, they did get reset once after the first 3 rounds. They got one and then lost one, and I think that really set them back. But once they got it back together, I mean, they were able to start really working their defaults well. They were getting that map control that they wanted on a pretty regular basis. They had a couple of, pacing change executes, and yeah, they come up the half 9-6, and we will be back to conclude this and find out whether or not Renegades will 2-0 the series or whether or not CLG can force a 3rd map in just a few moments. But first, let's take a nice look at our sponsors that are helping us through this event.
My name is Tim the Tap Man. I use CyberPowerPC powered by Intel.
Let's go!
Welcome back. You're all excited for the conclusion, I can tell, of CLG versus Renegades. Keep in mind, Renegades pick up this map. It is goodbye to CLG, and Renegades will move on to the grand finals. Oh, what's with this habit of killing chickens? When did this start, Dust?
I'm not sure, but Renegades is suffocating CLG and T-Stairs right now, if we're honest. This could get...
Oh, it's gonna get messy. Azur gets 2. I think that may have been the word you're looking for. Sorry for cutting you off. As Kusta gonna peek for Mexican. He actually gets 2 spins. Make it a 3rd! What is this from Kusta from Mexico? As now, the push from Renegades is squished under the heel of Kusta's boot. Looking good while he does it. Is they're gonna smoke CT. Naf may get caught.
Oh
Naf
my.
and Nifty are quick to rotate. Even through the smoke, Nifty takes some shots. They're gonna try a boost, but Kusta is just on it. That USP is looking more like an opposite round moves on. As Nifty 1v3 catches Cutler. This should be round. This should be it. Nifty does have a smoke and a kit. But can you believe it? As it is just Kusta going to town. And the story's not done yet. It's still unfolding. And there's a smoke onto the bomb. He knows there's a player towards Emo. Just going to try to bait out Kusta. Has no HP to do so. Going to try to stick to defuse. And that is an ace from Kusta. A player that you need to step up. And he certainly did for CLG.
Yeah, he was the hero of that round. That looked so bad. Like, there's never a worse feeling than getting stuck in your own spawn on Inferno because CTs are being aggressive at middle. And they got the opening kill as well. So it was really looking rough for the men over at CLG. But then, lo and behold, out of the shadows comes Kusta with the Glock to save the day. Also, let's just take into account the score is 9-7, so we played 16 rounds. Kusta has 25 kills.
Jeez, the closest is 15. 10 frags.
Yeah, he is way out there on the server. Has a good chance to wind up with a 30 bomb before this game's over if enough rounds get played, which definitely there will be, at least.
Not much investment.
7 more rounds played, so.
So it seems like the CT side they don't force. T side they do. It seems like that's been the habit here.
Makes a lot of sense. You want to make sure you have the AWP, make sure you have utility.
Especially with the CT side and everything. Makes good logic. Adds up.
It's also more expensive to be CTs in general, so force buying takes more of a hit on you than the T side would.
It looks like CLG may head up towards mid here. They'll leave Ricky to hold Banana. There still are 2 nades on the Renegade side. They're actually stacked. That's Naf and Azur. They'll have these nades. And so as soon as these porch players make contacts, the nades will go out. And they won't find any frags, but it's a good idea. A little bait and switch with some utility.
And they do a fair amount of damage to Ethan and Cutler, actually, but not enough to pose too much of a threat. And the B-bomb site's now wide open as Renegades were looking to stack over on the other side. So we're going to have Cutler just farming some cash with that SMG over in middle. And his team will secure the round over on the other side of the map. So it will be CLG quickly working towards perhaps tying this one up.
Looking very like it. Especially if CLG win this one flawlessly. It's a lot of cash built up early on that T side. Naf, timing? Is he going to catch Cutler? No, Cutler's out of there. He's all the way in T spawn. Taking a vacation.
Yeah, taking a vacation maybe with Robbie Ronaldo.
Ronaldo?
Who's busy using that denial money to go to the beach rather than pay his players.
You hate to see it.
Really do. Hopefully there will be action taken against him. If you haven't heard about that, by the way, I definitely need to spread awareness about that. Go over to the CSGO subreddit. Richard Lewis just released a video about it. Vince Nairn also reported on Slingshot. And good old Tolkien fanatic has been leaking stuff on Twitter, so get yourself informed.
Down with denial, boys.
Indeed.
Support your local players. Start a union. 9-8. Ethan will get the nade down mid. It's looking like this should be a clean round from CLG. As Renegades, looks like they're going to do a hero push, a Spartacus push, 5 down Banana, or 4-play counter flash. Azur's going to flash them over. The possibilities here are endless, and that was a hell of a nade. Actually, that's a hell of a double nade. Jeez, you can just see the pyramid of damage dealt there. As Ricky's going to swing, perhaps into his death. Flash comes over. It's actually going to pop behind him, so he's ready for this. The spray is good. JKS is the only one to get a frag, and the man who threw the flash fall momentarily to Kusta. So 9-9 ties this all up.
Indeed, it's all squared up now. All that ground that Renegades had gained by winning those last 9 rounds in a row in the first half, or 8 rounds in a row in the first half, has come to an end. But they will be back onto a full buy now. They have AWP in Nifty's hands. They have full utility sets across the board. But look at CLG. They aren't looking to play any slow map control. They're looking to take this one hard and fast up the lane.
They are going to fall off, so the game.
Yeah, that incendiary kind of was
that was their own too, wasn't it? Or was that a
I think that was a CT one. for sure.
Yeah. So it holds them off with the torch. Renegades do have 4 members towards A site. A lot of trust right now given in JKS's hands. They do leave him with a smoke and a molly as soon as he gets a sound cue. Azur's going to try to retake mid control. Spots FNS, knows there's a player in Boiler. He is just going to tuck tail and run out of there. Stillo is playing top belt. And that's Ricky heating up. He's been quiet. I think he had 4 frags a little while ago. Is now up to 8. So he's finally starting to find his groove. Kusta's about to come out through the smoke on towards balcony. Now, Renegades. It comes down to timing. And if these players on A site can actually find some frags. Waits for the flash. Azur's good. He only connects the bullets onto Ricky's dome as Nap gonna hold this library cross. Not much you can do. Tries to deny FNS. Somehow successful in doing so. So it goes into a 2v2. This is certainly doable with the mollies. Ethan has to be careful. It forces him all the way into site corner. And it's JKS and Naf. Are they going to be a dynamic duo in this situation? Cutler's still on an MP7. The T's are completely out of utility. But with the amount of time that's ticked down and having no kit, Renegades really have to go. They cannot afford to pull a CLG here, which you're kind of lining themselves up to do. Naf, clear sight. Cutler, last one up, MP7. What a swing with it. As he gets one. Almost gets the long range spray. There is plenty of time for JKS now to get the full 10-second defuse.
Yep.
And you know what? You have to think, though, if that Cutler had anything else other than an MP7, that would have been a win for CLG.
That was actually a really close defuse, by the way.
That was I didn't notice it,
yeah,
but it came down to the wire.
It wasn't as comfortable as I thought it was going to be. It got a little bit scary, too, because when they first threw that incendiary inside pit, it forced the player to peek, which they wanted, but then he won the fight. So you're like, uh-oh. Like, we kind of didn't get what we wanted out of that, but JKS still does come up with the 1v1, and Renegades do take the lead right back from CLG. But it comes at a grand cost. I mean, they only survive with 1 player, so they had to rebuy 4 players, and 3 of them have to do it with SMGs to be able to get utility. And so this is very scary. If they get reset, it could be even more scary. But they do have the opening frag thanks to a gap in the smoke that Nifty is able to use to get a pick off onto Cutler. And Kusta's also been taken down fairly low. But Ethan, he's starting to collect some kills over here at Banana. Naf having to run away. He's done some damage, and he does get out of there.
CLG are going to follow up on this. They're heavily tagged, and that Molly actually may just send him back. And Ethan wanted to try to get at the engagement, the player that shuffled all the way back in sight. That Molly signified that a second player is rotated. That's Azur. Ooh, man. And that's scary, peeking
playing with fire.
Yeah, especially with Kusta the way he is now. That nade did absolutely nothing for the record.
Yeah, that was just
and
like
Kusta was trying to hit a
firework.
skybox, maybe. Some Chinese New Year celebrations, trying to scare him off. It looks like CLG are just going to continue to hold banana control. Naf is waiting for a flash. Ricky is heavily tagged, but behind the wall, safe and sound. As still looking good for CLG, but they're heavily tagged, and they still have mollies, though.
Yeah, they're waiting it out and throwing in that sense of doubt, not allowing Renegades to really rotate. They're forcing us to play 2 at a site, and they're going to be able to use their numbers advantage to get in here, it seems to be the case. As Azza, also in a tough spot because he's playing Coffins with an SMG, so he can't really peek long distance. He has to just kind of hold an angle. At the edge of the smoke. This might work out nicely, actually.
Wow, right through the smoke comes Ethan, and that's where he'll lay. Kusta will answer back, but it's not May. Ooh, as Kusta's going to try to look for some more. FNX wants to try to plant the bomb towards Coffins. Naf can deny it, and that he will. MP9 God as he finds the final 2, and the Renegades have broken CLG's will at this point, but not quite their banks.
Not quite. No, they still do have money to buy up in this round, and they will go ahead and call a timeout to think through just exactly what they want to buy. As Kusta's balling out of control right now. He's 1 kill away from dropping 30, and we have at least 5 more rounds left to play. So if he keeps that pace up, he will have a monster game. Also, not bad work out of Cutler, but have some other people kind of slowing down. Meanwhile, you're starting to see Renegades start digging themselves out of those negative KD ratios and some of those players. I mean, Naf being kind of one of the biggest ones.
I guess the question is, what does CLG change? Do they get out of this default? Do they go for some quick plays, perhaps fight top banana a bit earlier?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, they're investing a lot into Molotovs right now. Every single player on CLG has a Molotov, and you certainly can use those to fight for top banana control because you basically can molly the top and disallow Renegades from even pushing towards the wall or car or what have you. Or not car. I guess there's not a car there anymore, but used to be. I don't know what people call. I think people still call that car a lot of the time. Top banana, whatever.
Barrels, but
yeah,
cars. Why not still call it car, right?
Yeah. So that is exactly what they do with some of their Molotovs. Or 2 of them, in fact, they use to push CTs back. But the utility from Renegades will allow them to just kind of come right back into top banana. But that smoke didn't really land the way they wanted to, and they will be forced to fall back into the site now. Gonna boost the player as well. So this could be like something a little bit gimmicky that catches CLG off guard. Maybe not an angle they expect to peek on JKS.
I haven't used it yet. And if the molly lands behind him, you should be safe to take the engagement, although it stops him from falling back.
This is also a sick angle that NAF will have from that spot. Those are going to be 2 hard spots to clear. Because fire won't affect them, so the normal Molotovs you'd use for first, second oranges, all that good stuff is going to be negated by the positions they have. But they may not even go for it. They may be looking to go middle.
Comes down to what kind of information Renegades can gain now. With only having a molly and just flashes left, it comes down to they need info, and they need info soon. They will drop their final Molotov with 40 seconds on the clock. It will keep CLG back behind it. Now, there is a player playing front straw and a player on balcony. Nifty hits a shot on towards Cutler. That's a good first blood drawn now for Renegades, but CLG looking like they want to wrap. Azur's been good to get a frag here previously. We'll see if that's going to be the case. Great flash over. Full blind is Ethan. And he had no support. His teammates are going to try to come up porch and balcony. FNX with just a pistol, and this is just falling apart from CLG. Looked all too easy for Renegades.
Yeah, they did really well with their utility on the A-bomb site. The pop flash at Moto to get that kill was certainly well done. Also, just good bait and switching taking place with like the defenders from the site and Moto and balcony to kind of, you know, pull attention and blindside some players. And now the money has run out for CLG, so they will have to take a save into this round. This means Renegades can start building up their lead. They've already won 3 in a row. See what CLG wants to do on the save. Looks like they're going to put a little bit of pressure here at Banana, but being held back by some utility from Renegades. Nades are coming through. Meanwhile, some fights are taking place in the apartments, and so far it's been an equal exchange over there.
Well, equal is not bad for CLG in this situation. And if NAF overstays his welcome and re-peeks into this Teagle, he's playing with fire right now. He really is.
Absolutely.
Taking a huge risk. He goes down. That's a completely open B site and weapons for CLG to work with. Yeah. But it looks like CLG are going to change their minds a little bit.
One thing, though, is holding this allows them to keep 2 defenders on the A-bomb site. If he had to fall back into B-bomb site and not have information, then all of a sudden Nifty gets kind of strained on what he should be doing. So it is important that he does hold on to this.
Well, Nifty's about to be challenged from the Deagle of Cutler. They will both miss their opening shots. Azur, top of the tech, gets spotted. Molly will come in to support him. And again, it looks all too easy for Renegades. CLG did a nice job of finding 2 frags, doing a little bit of damage. But outside of that, this surely is going to go the Renegades' way. Nifty will hit the final shot. That's 13. CLG will have their cash back in their hands. But Renegades look really unchallenged when it comes to the early parts of the round. They don't feel like they have to fight towards top banana, but they're content to fall back because CLG really don't do much on the back of their nades. But mid seems like a free point for Renegades as well.
And Renegades are just doing really well across the board defending, but we do see CLG back into a buy now, and this is probably going to be one of the better buys they're going to have left in this half, so they really need to make it count. They're running out of chances. And Nifty will draw first blood onto Kusta at middle with an aggressive peek in the front of that smoke, actually. And I saw Nifty doing this yesterday as well. He can be very ballsy. He's just going to keep it up. He peeks in the window room as well. And so Nifty has just single-handedly shut down CLG in a very big round. Can they respond with their final 3 at Banana? These angles NAF and JKS have are so good.
Yeah, they did it again. All they have to do is trade out. Ethan's going to come around the corner first. As soon as that smoke goes, NAF can throw a flash. Wednesday should do against JKS. Full blind is NAF. He has to stay second oranges. He's going to get pushed from Ricky. A little team damage cracks coming through momentarily. NAF still somehow finds Ethan, who peeks wildly into a spraying NAF, who's desperately trying to at least trade 1-for-1 for his life. And now, with Nifty fighting the opening 2, Naf gets 1. It's a man advantage. As FNS is on a solo mission towards 8. They're so spread, though. This comes down to timing, ultimately, here.
Yeah, Ricky is waiting for Finesse to hopefully do something, because he's stuck at New Box with the bomb. Finesse gets caught by Ustillo, and now it's all over. What a round by Nifty in particular. Those opening 2 kills were huge. And they were definitely not easy to get. I mean, angles he were taking were very forward ones, very dangerous ones, and he comes out on top. It's kind of crazy that those 2 positions on B didn't actually work out that well. They actually kind of got cleared out. Ethan able to kill JKS pretty quickly, actually. But nonetheless, it's still Renegades who take the round.
2 AKs, a Galila, UMP, and CZ to keep Renegades off match point. And, well, BO3 series point. I think Ethan's in a rough spot. Can't go back, can't go forward. We'll eat a flash and eat some bullets as JKS lines both up. FNS was clicking E on his teammate to pick up a rifle. He literally was clicking on a teammate that was alive to try to find his gun as he died.
Yeah, this aggression has been a nightmare for CLG, as Nifty again gonna be forward over here at middle with AWP, again finds a kill and Asa finishes it off. And yeah, dude, just the tempo that Renegades is bringing to their CT side, the CLG can't seem to match it, man. Like, that round was just a crazy nightmare that you have Ethan stuck between, you know, 2 incendiaries, and then he gets pop flash. There's just literally nothing the man can do. Like, what is he supposed to do? Like, he can either run away from the flash, but he's just gonna run through fire and die. So he just has to kind of stand there, and it's just the you know, utility and aggression on point for Renegades right now.
Well, this may be it. This may be Renegades moving to the grand finals. Are they gonna face Optic or Misfits? That's gonna be the next question. As Ustillo, I don't think he heard that fire tick. Cutler actually jumped in his own flame. And there was a tick there. So Ustillo could have heard it as Nifty goes down to 28 right off the get-go. As JKS towards sandbags. So deep molly and flash. This is going to be some aggression now from the CTs. Caught jumping, but Ethan can't do anything. With JKS and NAF working so well together. And it looks like CLG are now going to try to fight this banana aggression head on and perhaps try to push in towards B. NAF. Risky to pop some shots like that, especially with how spammable these barrels have become. The car could eat some bullets. That necessarily can't. As JKS close wall. Gets the first, looking for some more, but he actually peeks wildly into the spray. But at the end of the day, Renegades still come out a man on top.
Yeah, indeed, they still do trade better. They get 2 down at Banana, but Ricky does catch NAF, and so now it's actually evened up, and this is going to be big because Nifty's all alone at B with AWP. If he goes down, this round is probably CLG's. He's got to figure something out. Smoke goes down CT. He's not calling for a rotate yet. He'll just take the fight. He does win it, but now he's going to get pushed. A good pop flash, though, will allow him to maybe remain alive just a tad bit longer. They're going to boost up, though, and he is out of it. But that flank's coming in, but it's going to be a 2-on-2.
Man, they peaked before that flash came in from FNS. Nifty was given an opportunity to find 2. They will plant first oranges. FNS slowly pushes into Chapel. Now, they heard Ricky drop a gun. He picks up the op. They even heard the scope. Now comes down to FNS looking back here. Ricky, second oranges, is still has to know by now, and he will spot him. Jumping finds the shot, spots FNS as he falls second oranges. FNS going to be playing the time, gets his second flash out. But this plant spot is so risky. Ustillo's going to tap it, bites FNS out, but FNS will hit the ringer. Holding on for now as we retrieve the op. CLG not done yet.
Yeah, really well done by Finesse there in that round. Gotta give your hat off to him. He played that out so well in the 2 versus 2. Ends up getting 3 kills on the round. Good effort by Nifty to try to hold that bomb site slow with the AWP, but just wasn't enough in the end. So this will go on a bit longer. Renegades, though, still in a prime spot to 2-0 the series. It's going to take 5 rounds in a row for CLG to force yet another overtime, as, of course, Train it took an overtime to decide things, but it was Renegades in the end. Moving on to the finals would be Renegades if they're able to lock this one up. Playing the winner of Optic and Misfits, which is going to come up right after this.
Again, JKS can be playing close wall. Everything's so silent across the map. CLG have to get 5 in a row. As they'll boost on the wall, they're going to be expecting JKS here. Now, NAF was caught trying to fall back, so perhaps they think no one else is as close. But it looks like CLG want to fall back and head towards the A site. They've boosted a player porch. Again, first time they've done that. Stillo will be there. As CLG look like they're going to line up a couple smokes.
I definitely have some type of execute in mind over at the A-bomb site. Ustillo is in a spot that can be dangerous, but it's so easily flashbanged, and he doesn't really have that much of a way out. Good counter incendiary might certainly do the trick to separate the attacking squad, but it doesn't, as Ethan finds the entry.
Nifty alone in sight. Rotations are coming. He has to hold on. Misses the first shot, and that will spell his doom. He hits one, but that's it. Down he'll go. JKS going to try to save. CLG get 11. And look at Renegade's cash. It's starting to slip away, Dust.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit more stressful on Renegades now. I mean, remember, this team was up 15-9, and now it's going to be 15-11. And like you said, the money's also coming to a dangerous point for them. So that comfort that they had is starting to really wither away. And CLG are now just a handful of rounds away from actually forcing another overtime in this best of 3. So they are certainly still hanging in this one. Kind of curious to see what Renegades is going to do this next round. They will hopefully have JKS holding onto this M4 and head armor and a kit. They could maybe get some pistols around this and try to make some type of stack or push play, as Nifty does have the 4K. They do buy 5 HE grenades, so I'm imagining there's some type of nade stack about to happen at middle. Could be the old, like, push a couple banana and throw nades, push a couple middle and throw nades. That's exactly what it's going to be. The classic.
May catch one. Yeah, they will. Kusa goes down. And I mean,
that's like the most classic
really
save
is.
like that I know. Like, almost everyone in matchmaking even knows that one.
You want to nade down banana mid? Yeah, man.
Yeah, let's do it. There you go.
And it's safe to do because you don't get caught relatively often. I use banana's safe.
Not unless you just keep pushing after you've thrown the nade. I mean, that's when you might run into a blender. But if you just hug the wall and throw them and quickly drop back, then yeah, I mean, you're basically gonna get those nades out for free.
Well, Ricky's gonna push up towards banana control. They leave JKS alone back sight.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I always hate to see the one rifle isolated because it means you can't really recycle it and keep it in play. I much rather see tactics in rounds like this where you surround the M4 so you can just keep it going, hopefully. But we'll see.
Well, if JKS can get a couple here, it'll make it interesting, and not the case. Absolutely removed from the server by Ethan. He straight up takes the duel, takes the life. As Naf's going to pop some shots through. They have no armor, just upgraded pistols. I imagine they go try to get exits here. Maybe try to push down and get Kusa's weapon.
Yeah. The other thing is, in that round, if you keep the M4 with the group, then you can potentially save it, you know? Nifty will actually find an op, though. That's nice. The one guy that they nade stacked at middle, they've been able to recollect that gun. I'm actually kind of surprised that someone didn't pick that back up and bring it with them.
Or throw it out or something.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they got mid-control back after the nade stack, right? Because Renegades just fell back into A, so they could have maybe paid a little bit of attention and tried to get rid of it.
Someone's going to have to drop it off to him, too, right? Yeah, looks like Ethan's going to have to be the one to drop it off. Rough. That's a bit of an oversight, isn't it?
Just a small one.
Because in this round, they wouldn't have been able to afford an op. Would have been glass cannon. So now Nifty will have utility and armor behind it.
Yeah, it's a little small detail that has it's not the biggest of impacts, but definitely a solid one. But, you got a lot to think about in a round like that, especially when you're down a man. You got to worry about whether or not you're going into some type of stack or they're going to push you again somewhere. So, again, when you have so much on your mind, a little thing like that can certainly be overlooked. They're going to try to do a boost over the smoke and Nifty.
Damn.
He is just messing around with CLG with this AWP in early round situations, man.
He caught those tracers. And he put the bullet where it matters. Looks like they're going to give some time for Kusta to work. I could see Ethan coming over here and boosting Kusta. Looks like because Kusta's just standing there begging for someone to do something. He can't really do much through the smokes here. As flashes are going to come in, Ethan's going to be the first point of entry. JKS, that boost again will reign supreme. And Nap will swing. He gets one from Pillar. Now he needs some support. Flashes come in from his players in CT, but Cutler's nowhere to be seen. He's taking a hike, and it ends with him falling down the mountain and breaking a leg. And now it is just FNS in a 1v4. And this is how it ends, Dust.
No, he's got this. This isn't how it ends. Nope. I believe. Come on,
the 11
Finesse.
and 17 player will get shut down from NAF. That's going to be game. Renegades move to the grand finals. You have the pleasure of casting Renegades once more in the grand finals, but to be determined who they play, whether it be Misfits or good old Optic Gaming. That should be a good BO3.
Yeah, Vansili and Scrawny should be on deck to cast that one for you, so you'll definitely get to hear some new voices for that game as well. Great working with you, Seaside, of course. I'm sure we'll see you for some future events over here as the Civo crew is working on this one for CyberPowerPC, as well as all of the related sponsors, which is Best Buy, Intel, Western Digital, NVIDIA, and MSI. Again, there's a giveaway going on. The link is being shared in chat every so often, so just be sure to get in on that, as well as predictions contests we still have going on as well that you can still get in on, I believe. And yeah, I mean, basically, CLG just are going to get knocked out here by Renegades. I think that they're just going to have to figure out Inferno, man, because if they're going to keep permabanning Nuke, and there's plenty of teams willing to play Inferno that will pick it against you, you're either going to always take that map loss in the series, or you're going to have to try to, rearrange things again and try to figure out a way to be more successful, because again, I mean, the amount of times they've played that map and to only have one win, that's a little rough. That's definitely a wound you have to kind of seal up. But congrats to Renegades. At least they're continuing to kind of challenge in the middle of the pack of the scene, and this is a good run for them. But we'll see how it goes a little bit later. Again, we got Optic and Misfits coming up next. I'm sure it'll be soon. Scrawny eventually will lead you through that. So without further ado, we'll sign off for just a little bit.